Welcome to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Brickyard as it's known, host of the Indianapolis 500 and its host to the Indy Women in Tech Championship, the second-year event on the LPGA Tour. This is Brickyard Crossing Golf Course, and Angel Yin isn't quite lapping the field, but 8 under par through her first 9 holes. The second-year LPGA Tour player from Southern California leads Jane Park and Jin Young Ko by a couple. Carlota Ciganda continues to play well this summer. She's 3 shots back. Low scores and a star-studded field this week, including Lydia Ko, whom you see there. Runner-up last year to Lexi Thompson. Little rain this morning and soft conditions. They are playing lift, clean, and place. The scores are low. Grant Boone, Karen Stupples. This is Lydia.
And it's really humid outside too. It feels quite moist in the atmosphere. It's going to mean that there's going to be plenty of moisture on these greens as well.
See the overcast conditions, chance of rain the next couple of days. Karen and I are joined by Tom Abbott. On the course, Jerry Foltz and Kay Cockrell. Let's take you to the 11th.
This is Angel Yin to save par. Kay Cockrell is out watching.
Yeah, obviously ran that birdie putt a little bit too far by.
Tremendous golf from Angel, the way she's played, Kay. 8 under for the day.
Yeah, that doesn't happen to too many golfers, does it? To be 8 under through 9 holes.
And playing with Lydia Ko is Jessica Korda. Each of them has a victory this season.
It's 10th hole. It's 510 yards, par 5, and one that you really want to take advantage of. With the scores being so low, you have to make birdies on those par 5s.
And Korda is one of the best on tour in playing par 5. She gets a birdie there. This is Mariah Stackhouse at the par 3 12th.
Good looking roll. Yes, this falls in that right side.
A couple of top 10s in June, and the former Stanford Cardinal is continuing a nice summer. 11.
Christy Kerr second.
And just a short par 4. Means a short shot in, and she's going to have a short putt.
Yeah, it wasn't far away from pitching that in the hole.
I got a little lower one. I think this is a club.
Yeah, I think so too. You can bring it in there. Stay patient. See this shot right now.
Okay.
Okay, we heard the last-minute advice. Stay patient. This is Angel Yin. Hard to stay patient when you're making birdie every hole.
And, well, maybe her patience is running a tad thin since she's made a couple of pars, which must seem so dull for her right now. She is certainly one of the most dynamic players out here, and I could see her potentially birdieing every hole. This par 3 playing a little bit longer. Back into a slight breeze, and she's pulled this with a draw. And that's not going to be an easy birdie effort from there.
Won late last year on the Ladies European Tour, looking for her first LPGA Tour title. We're at the 10th, and here's our defending champion.
I think it's just a nice one.
And Jerry Foltz is following this group.
Lexi drove it in the left trees after making 5 birdies in her first 9, offset by 1 bogey, turning it 4 under, but drove it in the trees here on what would be a reachable par 5, had to punch out and still has 182 remaining. Turned that one over nicely, just right of the hole and drawn.
Five birdies and a bogey on the front 9 for Lexi. And we take you back to the 12th, and the most recent American winner on the LPGA Tour, Kay, Annie Park.
It was a lot of fun to watch her win in New Jersey at the ShopRite. She had pretty much her whole entire family and a lot of friends in the gallery watching and rooting her on. Annie trying to hit that one low, keeping it below the breeze, but it just didn't sound solid, Karen.
No, the swing looked, excuse me, swing looked really sloppy as well. Very sort of wobbly at the top of the backswing. Wasn't firm at all.
11.
Jin Young Ko for a birdie. 23 years of age. Good finish in Scotland a few weeks ago, finished tied for third. Aberdeen Standard Investments Ladies Scottish Open, but she missed the cut the following week at the Ricoh Women's British Open. Royal Lytham. Off to a good start here though. 6 under par, 6 birdies over first 10 holes for the player that looks likely to claim the Louise Suggs Rolex Rookie of the Year title for 2018.
If you wonder why she's leading that category, she's had 9 top 10s and 1 win already. That's a pretty impressive start for your first season on the LPGA.
And a former #1 in the world from the end of last year up through April of this year, Shan Feng.
Yeah, but it's so low that it would then.
Not much.
Maybe.
That's fine.
Go straight, it's okay, right?
Yes.
Shan drove it in the right rough. Couldn't get home in 2, pitched out to here, just a wedge remaining.
That for birdie as we go back to the 9th.
Morgan Pressel to get to 5 under. Uses that golf ball that has the soccer ball markings on it. Says that it really helps when she's practicing to see the roll of the ball, and then takes that onto the golf course. Didn't quite work in that instance, but a good front 9 for Morgan.
Annie Park at the 12th, her second shot at the par 3.
A good 15 paces short of the front of the screen. Coming off a little uphill lie. Beautiful touch.
Came from behind to catch Se Young Kim at the shop right. Weather interrupted event.
Christy Kerr just knocking one in. Speaking of weather, we hope that it doesn't affect proceedings today. The forecast calling for some storms to roll through, and there are certainly little pockets around the Indianapolis area that are being hit at the moment, but so far so good here. Christy getting to 2 under. Should be very low scoring here with the way the scores are going, and I think that cut could be well under par.
This is at the 12th. We have Yin and Yang. NK Cockrell. That's Yin. Yang from the Republic of Korea, Yin from Southern California.
Well, and I would say, given their personalities, they probably are a
There
bit
is.
yin and yang.
That's a good point. Well said. There's Amy Yang.
Amy Yang is one of the sweetest, most quiet, polite women you'll ever meet. And Angel is just sort of in your face, very dry wit, much more energetic and kind of outspoken. Karen, perhaps what we're seeing here is maybe that transition from being in that state of great subconscious golf where you're just letting things happen and things are just happening on their own, to then becoming more conscious of score and what exactly you're doing.
I think that's a very valid point, and very, very correct too, because when you get on a roll and things are going really well, you're totally in the zone, and then it's your job to try and keep staying there. But typically what happens is that you have a bit of an iffy hole, one where you might be struggling just a little bit, and all of a sudden you wake up. It's like, oh, what am I actually doing out here? And this especially, you know, people have comfort zones of scoring too. You know, people have a range of which they're very comfortable going, and you have to get very good at being uncomfortable with breaking that and going below it. And I think that this is the ceiling that we're seeing Angel trying to break right now.
And because she's hit the ball so far from the hole, a good 40 feet or so, her biggest concern here is just making sure she has an easy 2-putt. Oh my. Gave that a legitimate chance.
She did.
She one-putted each hole on the front 9. And now she'll have that 2-putt her first 3 holes on the back. 8 under through 9 holes. 28, par 36, 36, 72. A couple of par 5s and a couple of par 3s on each 9. 13.
Second to the par 5 for Mariah Stackhouse. 4 under for the day. Used to be a par 5, but now a par 4.
Well, for you, Tom, at 405 yards, it might be a par 5.
Yeah, par would be 5 for me.
All right, at the 10th, Shan Chen Feng has missed her birdie putt. Now Lexi with a chance to get to 5 under.
Heading right through, right into a little valley here. Slightly downhill at the end for Lexi. Don't want to gun this one too much because it does slope away just past the hole.
Had that left for par on a par 5. We go back to the 12th and Angel Yen for par, leading it by 2.
Taking plenty of time with this putt. It seems like Karen, she's really just trying to calm herself, stay in the moment, not think about what this is for, but rather this is just a 3.5 footer. Where do you want to hit it?
She's been good. Okay, you know, from that distance, we've seen her make a couple of good ones. Looks very confident on the greens. Good stroke.
It helps, as Grant said, when you have 8 1-putts on the front 9.
Back at the 10th, So Yan Yu for birdie.
It's using the classic finger click to get the ball to slow down technique.
That is universal.
It is.
In every language, we all know what that means.
Yep.
So Yan is up to number 2 in the world rankings, former number 1. There were 5 number 1s in the world last year alone. Area Jatanagarn, who will tee off this afternoon, is number 1 currently. Angel Yen is number 1 on the leaderboard. 8 birdies in her first 9 holes. She leads it by 2. Day 1 of the Indy Women in TIC Championship. Scoring average is about a stroke and a half under par. And again, they are playing lift, clean, and place because of the rain that came yesterday, and again this morning, a chance of more rain a little bit later on today. See some familiar names there, some fresh faces as well. This is the professional debut this week of Sophia Schubert, a former U.S. Women's Amateur champion.
I'd rather you get it there. We don't want to be short.
At the par 3 12th, Christy Kerr.
Yeah, just back it up a
But you
couple.
agree you like kind of the gloves one?
Yeah,
Or
I like that. That's
the solid
perfect.
gloves
Yep,
one? Just barely right, but I like that
barely
one.
right. That's good.
Double check you have the right club there.
And on this hole today, so far, just over 50% of the players have hit this green. And I think the fact that players are missing it is they're coming up short and right.
Just like that. Christy doesn't leave a lot to the imagination as you watch her. You usually know what she's thinking. She'll often tell you. 23rd event of the season on the LPGA Tour. We have 3 events here in the U.S. and Canada coming up the next 3 weeks. Then it's off to Evian, France. And then the Asia swing. And then back for the CME Group Tour Championship. Number 5 in the CME race, Jin Young Ko at 12.
Looks to be starting this out on the right side of the green, trying to draw it back to the hole. That is most LPGA players' favourite shot type, but when you have a right hole location, it makes it hard for them to get close to.
And from where they're standing, it barely looks like the pin is even on the green.
Yeah.
13.
Stackhouse for a birdie. Couple of top 10 finishes in the month of June for Mariah. She was 7th at ShopRite. She was 9th at Walmart, both 3-round events. And she did have a top 15 at the Thornbury Creek LPGA Classic, very low scoring that week. Lydia Ko.
Kept her head down nicely on that part. And that does always tend to make a bit of a difference. Making sure that your head stays still, good follow through, hold the finish of the putter as well.
Lydia to 4 under, 4 shots back at the lead, which is currently held by Angel Yin. Incredible start to the day for Angel, 5 straight birdies in her round. Little rain falling, as we mentioned, a good chance that there would be some nasty weather this afternoon. It's kind of blustery out there, not really a nice day at all. It's almost as though summer has ended. Now Korda, this for a par. Second shot was short of the green. That's going to be a drop shot for Jessica.
You're right, Tom, it does feel a little bit autumnal out there, almost like you'd expect to see the leaves starting to drop from the trees.
Yeah, still a month or so away from that. This is Dana Bordner, Indianapolis native. She's a sponsor invite here this week, had the invite to come and play last year as well, and has made a nice start to her opportunity here. 4 birdies in the first 5 holes, so she's going along well. We saw Lydia Ko at 4 under as well. A lot of support out there for Dana as we look at the golf course, which is inside the oval. There is a track there that loops inside the oval, which runs alongside the golf course. So 4 holes inside the speedway, and the rest of the golf course is just outside. And I think, Karen, that the golf course, it gets probably not as much respect as it deserves because it's associated with the speedway. You think, well, maybe it isn't that good of a golf course, but it is. It's a really nice golf course.
It is, and we haven't seen too many of the holes on the front 9, but a lot of them have a water hazard that meanders around much of that side and comes into play quite a bit, not only on the left side of the holes, but on the right side of the holes as well. And you have to choose angles very wisely. I think one of the reasons, though, that we're seeing some really good scoring today is live clean and place, so the players get a perfect lie all the time on the fairways, and very soft greens that are receptive and holding the balls, and they're also rolling particularly well too. I mean, that's just a recipe for good scoring.
Yeah, it's a public golf course, and folks here do a really good job to present it in the way that it plays here, because they get a lot of rounds throughout the year. Well, not necessarily in the middle of the winter, but certainly during their season they get a lot of play. Now Annie Park.
From right in the middle of this fairway. Going to come in with a 6-iron, 146 to the hole, but playing a little bit longer. Also, Annie doesn't hit her irons tremendously long, but very accurately, at least that time.
Good chance for birdie for Annie Park. Great season.
She's had 3 birdies so far today, along with a eagle and then a 3-putt bogey at the 11th.
Now Amy Yang.
Barely a step ahead from where Annie hit. This is a golf swing that you just want to watch over and over. She has such beautiful square setup, and her tempo and rhythm is so good.
It is, and it's always a marvel to me as to why she hasn't actually won more. I mean, with a swing like that, you'd have expected her to be really dominant, almost like an Adam Scott within the men's game, to be honest with you. She just almost too nice to finish it off, I think, in many times.
I think most people would agree with you, Karen. A little more of that bulldog mentality may be needed. Now, Angel is coming out of the first cut of rough. Shouldn't be a problem. It's actually a good angle from that left-hand side to the front right hole location. See if she can get it in closer than her 2 fellow competitors.
What was that, Kay?
Well, she just ended up short right.
But just a misstrike, or?
Yep.
Wait for that gust to go.
Yeah, it's fine.
Maybe the wind picked up a little bit as she was hitting 2 and exaggerated the miss.
Yeah, we're seeing that a little bit with Lexi Thompson here. Shirt just fluttering in the wind.
Lexi hit iron off this tee, Tom, straight downwind, blowing at least 10, maybe closer to 15 at the moment. With driver, she probably could have gotten the ball up there near hole high. This is a blind shot from 129 yards, dome-shaped green that can run off on either side quite easily.
And it is going to run down off that green. Well, not as bad as it could have been. The fringe is softer. The rain coming down, as you can see. It's going to get a little tricky out there.
This is the 12th, and it's Jin Young Ko for birdie to get within 1. She won late last year on the LPGA Tour as a non-member. She was a member of the Korea LPGA Tour at the time. 11.
Shen Chen, second.
88 yards. Could just see the top half of the flag stick. Line is almost as more important than distance here. Distance is a little missing there, but he hit it hole high and 5 feet right of the hole, and it's down the valley.
It's I always find blind second shots quite difficult because you really have to know how far you're swinging to hit that right number, as opposed to being able to visualize and use that to gauge how far you've got to hit it.
Carlota Saganda at the 12th. Five under gets you a tie for 4th at the moment. 11.
So Yan Yu, second.
From 83 yards, see if she can dial it in, but that's a little short as well.
Opening round of the Indy Women in Tech Championship, driven by Group 1001. Angel Yin with a 2-shot lead here. Jane Park going along well, 6 under for her round. Third shot for Angel Yin at the 13th.
Yeah, her ball came up a good 5-6 paces short. Well, maybe, just the second time that she's chipped today?
If you say so, Kay.
Well, she only missed 1 green on the front. Didn't see what she did at 10.
Another putt for par that she's going to have to hold, and working a little harder on the back nine for Angel Yin. Let's go to 12.
And Lydia Ko. A beauty.
And that will set her up with a nice little opportunity there.
She's keeping the emotions in check. Is that a bit of an understatement? 15 and a fresh face.
This is Erica Shepherd, the 17-year-old amateur who qualified once again to get in the field. She did that last year.
This tee has been moved up today, normally playing about 170 something yards, and not playing quite as far today at just 143.
Lexi Thompson's third shot at the 11th.
Not easy. This underfoot is quite damp, so clipping this one nicely is not the easiest thing off very tight lie. This can make you look foolish in a hurry. Just playing it along the ground up the hill would be very difficult in these wet and damp and soft conditions. So she's trying to loft it up there with a little check. Pretty nicely done.
First page of the leaderboard at the Indy Women in Tech Championship. The Brickyard Golf Club, associated with the world's home of racing. But this week it is all about golf as we head out to the 12th.
And Jessica Korda after a bogey at 11.
Nice control swing. Love how she accelerated through.
Popular spot.
It is. It's just really difficult to get the ball close to that spot unless you're really comfortable hitting the fade. And Lydia grew up hitting the fade, so she's almost going back to her roots and hence able to get to that good shot there.
And as we've seen, the wind has picked up a bit. 13.
Annie Park for birdie.
Yeah, a little left to right breaker. This to get back to -5.
Amy Yang missed her birdie. Shen Chen Feng coming down the hill here at the 11th, Jerry.
Yes, Tom. See if she can make the most out of a substandard wedge shot here. Holding her finish means she likes it, but then it just turned a little right on her. Didn't look like it was supposed to either. And a few raindrops starting to fall again. It's forecasted to maybe come down a little heavier here shortly. We all got our fingers crossed, Tom, especially us outdoor pets, that it doesn't.
It's nice and dry here in the booth, but not a good day to be out on the golf course, although you guys get some beautiful views during the year. Yin for par.
Yeah, a good 8 feet or so.
Ah, no. First bogey of the day for Angel Yin. Well, the back nine has been a different story to the front nine. Great shame. I thought she was going to do something very, very special. Still has a chance, but kind of going in the wrong direction at the moment. So Yeon Yu for a birdie at 11.
Got a read off of Shan Shan's putt. Oh, you hate those ones that look good all the way up to the hole.
And then you realize that you haven't hit it.
Just a par for So Yeon Yu. Not too far away from Chicago, where her sister lives. So she spent a little bit of time up there. It's about, what, 40-minute flight to Chicago. How long's the drive? Did anybody do the drive?
About 3 hours. 3
hours, 3.5 hours.
2.5 if you drive with Grant.
Ah.
Oh.
He was preparing for the Indy 500.
Get my reps.
Yeah.
It's one of the more impressive things I've ever seen.
Now, Lexi, you've seen a lot of impressive things, Jared.
Yes, but Grant behind the wheel on the highway in Chicago is very impressive. He's a multitasker. This one turning just a hair left for Lexi.
Memory is entirely too long.
Is this a new putter for Lexi?
I think it's just got maybe a slightly different attachment on it, Tom. You can interchange those attachments on the back. It's very much a similar looking one. I think it looks a little bit longer than the one she had. And you can see she has a big blue dot on the back of her ball, and that's a spot that she's focusing her eyes on.
If you remember the ANA Inspiration in 2017, when she had the issue on the 17th green, she said that she remarked the ball because of that little spot, and she wanted to put the spot in the place where she usually has it so that she was comfortable over the short putt. And that's that little dot we saw on the ball. That's what she was referring to. Misses the green, does not get up and down. So Lexi with her second bogey of the day, back to 3 under. Jane Park going along really nicely. This is a putt to tie the lead.
Always been a big fan of how her forearms and shaft of the putter are all in a very similar line. I think it makes it a lot easier to rock the shoulders if you do that. A lot easier to keep the wrists out of it.
69th in the race to the CME Globe is Jane Park, so she's right on the cusp of making that Tour Championship. Let's go to the 14th.
And you see Mariah Stackhouse's number 56. That will culminate in November in Naples, Florida. Lydia Ko go back-to-back with birdies here. She's within 2 birdies at 11 and 12, and the runner-up last year in the inaugural Indy Women in Tech Championship is now, as you see, in a tie for 5th. 3-round event last year, heading into Evian. This year, a 4-round event. 50.
Shepherd for her birdie. Expected to go to Duke when she begins her college career. Plays golf left-handed, but does everything else right-handed, we're told.
Jessica Korda came up short with her tee shot here at the par 3 12th. Pitch to this point, this to stay under par. So 51 of the 72 players on the course at the moment are under par, led by Angel Yen at 7 under. "19 under par," won it with Lexi Thompson last year. 11.
Morgan Pressel's second shot. Great supporter of this event, her husband.
I like that.
Andy Bush is an executive with the company that runs this championship.
Yeah. Yep.
Finished 30th here last year.
On a side note, they just got a little dog called a Zoe. No, it's a golden doodle?
Golden Doodle,
Yeah.
yes.
Very cute.
Is it traveling around with?
It's with them here this week.
Ah.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah. Zoe is with them here this week.
Yeah.
She's very cute.
Difficult having a dog when you travel so much.
It depends.
You've got a dog, haven't you?
I
or
do,
not? Okay.
and I had a dog when I played on tour as well, and my Yorkie travelled with me. And
Gives you a bit of companionship, I suppose.
yeah. And then, well, typically what happens is that you get the dog, and then within a couple of years you end up having a baby. That's what happened for me, and
Is that the training?
I think so.
Okay.
Baby's a lot more work.
Yes. At the time, I thought when I first got my first dog, I thought, oh, this is no problem at all, no problem. And then the whole toilet training thing was just a bit of a pain, and I thought, easier with a baby, just to put a diaper on, no big deal. Then I had a baby, and I realised, no, dogs way easier.
Jerry, are you getting all this?
The poor crowd is wondering what in the world I'm laughing at. So I feel like a Kentucky Fried Idiot out here. 7-iron for Lexi.
She's that windy up there. Yeah. Meanwhile, back at the golf tournament.
I was just surprised you can toilet train a dog. That was news to me.
Our streaming coverage continues from here at the Brickyard Crossing as Lexi at 3 under, as the sign behind her says. Well, that was good, but by comparison,
Then the wind picked up extremely. I'm like, okay, somewhere in between those two.
well, it was good to see her laughing. She was talking about some heavy stuff, which we'll discuss as we go along today, earlier in the week. This is Mariah Stackhouse to get to 5 under and a share of 5th.
Good looking stroke, Grant.
Georgia native, played at Stanford University in Palo Alto, California. Bogey-free, 5 birdies. Overcast conditions, ideal for low scores. Angel Yin taking advantage, a 1-shot lead. The Indy Women in Tech Championship, driven by Group 1001. Angel Yin birdied 8 of her first 9 holes. She has pars and a bogey on the back 9 so far. Sakura Yokomine shot a 61 at the ShopRite in very soggy conditions. They are playing, as we said, preferred lies, also known as lift clean in place. Probably as much, Karen, for out of caution because of some more rain they're expecting, as much as the rain they had overnight, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was a pretty good amount they had yesterday evening, throughout the night as well. Having walked around the golf course this morning, it was quite soggy in places, and as you rightly say, there is forecast for more today and for tomorrow as well.
Saganda. Par at the 13th. Carlotta, 20th in the world, just one off her career best in the Rolex ranking. She was 19th for a week in March of 2017. As Grant mentioned, she's had a really good summer, and that's reflecting in her world ranking. A chance, obviously, to perhaps get inside the world's top 10 if she were to win. Iconic venue for motorsports and sport in general in the US, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Next big race here is NASCAR, 9th of September, Brickyard 400. Out to Morgan Pressel for a birdie at the 11th. Nicely done, Morgan. This is the tee at the 15th. Mariah Stackhouse on this par 3. The green sits way up above the level of the ground there, just sitting up. Pete Dye making it tricky. And deep bunkers around the green, and that's a pretty good tee shot there from Stackhouse. Big green as well. Flag today cut on the front half. Get back to the 12th.
And we've got some birdie putts here, and let's check out Lexi Thompson. She did make that putter change at the beginning of this season. And Jerry, it's interesting, her putting statistics improved drastically in 2017. We tend to remember those short ones that she missed with tournaments on the line.
Well, yeah, those are etched into everybody's memory because everybody's watching at that point. But she wasn't the only player to miss a short one that week. Probably not the only ones she missed. But it's unfortunate that so much of the recollection of her brief, young, stellar career revolves around the missed ones and not all the amazing stuff she has done. Tee to green, she is just ridiculously good. This one turning a little right last year, she was an above-average putter to a good putter. And that's all it takes for Lexi to dominate, is just to be decently good with the flat stick. The problem is she has so many more makeable opportunities from that 15-foot range. It doesn't look like she's putting well at times when she really is.
A pair of lips at 10 and 11, and then just narrowly missed for birdie there at the 12th. 13.
Lydia Ko second. It's a good shot there from Lydia, coming in with quite a lot of club.
Well, and what is impressive is that she's able to get to those right hole locations because of being able to hit a little fade towards them, as opposed to most of the players can't get anywhere near because they're very one-dimensional, hitting draws most of the time.
Shan Chen Feng at the 12th for birdie.
This for par.
Beg your pardon.
Yeah, no, she had a pretty poor 5-iron. Left of the green into the bunker. Chunked it out of the bunker to here. A lot of work remaining.
And what's happened to a putting glove?
Oh, I just noticed. You're right. She's always putted with a glove on, and it's a separate glove than the one she hits full shots with. I'm going to have to investigate.
Yeah. It's a bit of drama going on.
$13.
Second shot for Jessica Korda. Discussing with her caddy, Pete Godfrey.
As long as the wind keeps up, if it comes down.
No, trust that it's up there, yeah?
Yeah, it's up there.
All right.
Sort of stuck that flag on the front right. Just 8 paces on, only 3 paces from the right side. Green is 42 yards long. No problem there.
Bad number.
She thought it was a bad number.
9-iron or
I'm guessing she means a bad number for that club rather than the caddy making a mistake.
Yep.
And inside the leather, birdie for So-Yeon Yu. A beautiful tee shot. And the number 2 ranked player in the world makes birdie. Par 5, 14th. Our leader by 1, Angel Yin. It's been a solid hour since her last birdie. She birdied 8 of her first 9 holes.
Yeah, it'd be a good opportunity here if she can stick this 75-yard shot within 4 or 5 feet. Ball a little bit above her feet. Yeah, that's average for her. For most players, they'd expect to get that in very close from that distance.
One putted every green on the front 9. Since then, pars at 10, 11, 12, a bogey at 13. There's the scorecard. Missed the green at 6, her only missed green on the front. And what was a 3-shot lead is down to 1. Lydia Ko with back-to-back birdies as she plays the 13th 144 players in the field. The first 72 are on the course as we speak. Ariya Jhatanagarn, Moria Jhatanagarn, Sung Yun Park, Brooke Henderson, Min Ji Lee among those who will tee off in the afternoon wave. And here's one of the young Indy women.
Got her PGA Junior League hat on, and that'll be the finals are going to be taking place in a few months' time. Just disturbed by a phone there, Jerry, and she's ready to go now.
Yeah, this is probably playing as one of the longest par fours on the course. It's only 405 on the card, but it is soft, and it is into the breeze of about 10 miles per hour. The rain increasing in intensity now, pretty close to umbrella time.
Yeah. It is the Indy Women in Tech. I suppose we should expect a few beeps and rings out on the golf course.
Well, I think the majority of fans would know better.
Jane Park finishing up. She's in the first group out. Teed off at 7:15 local time. Ooh, that'll catch that turn and go left. Just like the track surrounding us.
Just
here.
banking it in there.
Yeah, 9 degrees of bank on that. These turns here at IMS. And she, well, there you go. There's the official Indy Women in Tech car. And no surprise that the best driver, last year Lexi Thompson, emerged victorious. This is Angel Yenke looking for a birdie to get back to 8 under.
Yeah, and break that bad spell of pars and even a bogey at the last hole. This should move maybe a little right to left, but with the moisture on these greens, I think in general you can take out a little break and hit them firmer.
All the ones that dropped in on the front 9 are now just staying out.
Well, then she hasn't been able to get the ball as close to the hole as she did on the front side either.
She's actually made a couple of 3 to 6 footers for par here on the back. Yanks it out of the hole in frustration. That's okay. Second year player. 3 5s on the back 9. 1, 2, 3, 4 3s and a 2 on the front. 65, by the way, is her career low.
Stackhouse, good birdie at the 15th. And she moves to 6 under par. So we've got 3 Americans there right at the top of the leaderboard here in Indianapolis. Pretty good scoring in the opening, well, I'd say opening round, but we're not quite to the end of some of those rounds yet. So early stages of the Indy Women in Tech Championship providing a lot of birdies. Lydia Ko for a birdie here at 13. Train celebrating as well.
I don't think at any point she thought that was going in.
It's kind of nice surprises when that happens.
3 birdies in a row for Lydia Ko. She's only 1 shot behind Angel Yin. Go to the 14th.
Annie Park for birdie, Kay.
Yeah, she's just hasn't been able to get one to fall in the last few holes.
Planes, trains, and automobiles here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Annie Park holed out at the 8th hole. There you go. That was the toughest hole on the course for the 3 days of the tournament last year. Picked up a couple of strokes plus on the field.
The
13.
8, 3,
And the umbrellas are out.
That's the max. That's actually slightly right of it. 61.
Second shot for Shen Shen Feng.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the flag is going almost straight.
Anything a little more than.
That's fine. Yeah.
And the rain coming down on the 13th hole of Shen Shen. That's ready here to play a second.
Playing her second with the 5-iron from 162 yards. Front right hole location into the breeze. A good one club breeze at the moment. Always picks it cleanly, which is a good thing in wet conditions. This left of the hole.
Be okay. It's just a massive green. And really only a small portion of it being used today. So Yan Yu.
157 or so, Yan. Slight uphill lie. That's on a pretty good line. Just a little bit left the hole. Plenty of club.
Yeah,
Nice.
lovely. Now, Lexi.
Yeah, okay. Very cute. So you've got some room behind it, you know, off that slope. So. I feel like it's fairly straight in. I might just be a little on the right, but not a lot.
133 is all Lexi has left of the hole. Slight downhill lie, going with a 9-iron. Probably an easy one. She could hit that low bullet wedge 133 yards into this breeze quite easily. Very small one, very loud sounded impact. The grass is so wet underneath, but a beauty.
Yeah, that's going to leave her a great chance for a birdie. And despite the tricky conditions, a lot of folks out there watching. As Lexi returns to action for the first time in a month or so. Annie Park on the tee at the 15th.
You know, Tom, collectively, this group is 14 under par, but they did all their work on the front nine. No one's made a birdie on this back nine, and I think it's because the wind has intensified and made it just a little trickier to get the ball close.
Yeah, this hole's not easy as the wind kicks up. It's not a huge target.
And that wind is blowing very hard left to right. It's dead crosswind.
The good news is that you can just look up on top of the grandstands if you want to know the direction of the wind, because there are plenty of flags.
Jane Park at the 18th. This could be a good situation for Jane. Post a number, then maybe the bad weather intensifies. This for birdie and a 65. All right. She and Angel Yin now are the pace cars. She's got to share the lead as Angel continues to play. A few groups behind her. And she's done, perhaps most importantly. 15.
And Amy Yang.
Amy can hit the ball very high, but probably wants to bring it down a little bit. You can just see that wind just push it well to the right. Ideally, you'd like to hit a little draw into this flag, but I think, Karen, just a good old-fashioned straight low shot would be ideal that ends up hole high right.
Agreed, and it is not an easy hole when you're looking at it from the tee, because it is, as Tom was saying, a small target. The slopes off either side are really dramatic, and you know that if you miss it, you're going to have a really tough time getting up and down.
Most definitely. It shouldn't be that hard, but with the element of this wind, it just makes maybe a little bit of doubt in your mind. And you know that if you come out of it a little, the wind's going to exaggerate the miss greatly.
If you've never been here before, that gives you an indication of how vast it is at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. As we will change with you and find the green. These holes are inside the track, And as you saw in the background there, that was the other side of the track. So it's just massive. There's nowhere quite like it in all of sports.
He's not rooming with anything. He ended up rooming with Jack's girlfriend, the other boy, her brother, had an opening, came up in his apartment in Lincoln Park, so.
How are you?
Well, after I came up here, that's why we kept the hole.
Sweet.
The left bunker we can see?
Yeah.
There is no other place in sports quite like the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and there is no track on the LPGA Tour quite like Brickyard Crossing. 4 of the holes, the final 4, 15 through 18, are inside that oval here at IMS. It's day 1 of the Indy Women in Tech Championship. Grant Boone, Karen Stupples watching Angel Yin putting together a front 9 to remember. Already 7 under par at this point at 9.
And judging the release on that shot from the rough very nicely indeed.
So the 19-year-old second-year LPGA Tour player from Southern California rolled in that 3-footer. And how about this front 9? No ovals, just circles here in Indy for Angel Yin. 8 under par, looking for her first career victory. Jin Young Ko has 2 wins already, including 1 this year, and this was the leader of the Rookie of the Year standings at that same 9th.
And no real surprise to see her hitting one in close here. She does lead the LPGA Tour in greens in regulation this year.
Good to see the defending champion back. Already a busy week for Lexi Thompson. We'll discuss that in a moment. This is her second shot at the tough 8th.
And one of the longer of the par 4s at 420 yards, but it's being very friendly to Lexi with that lovely members bounce.
She will roll that in to get to 4 under par, her 5th birdie of the front 9. Lydia Ko was runner-up to Lexi last year in the inaugural Indy Women in Tech Championship. This is her tee shot at the par 3 12th, coming off of a birdie.
And only 50% of the players in the field have hit this green, let alone get one this close to this right hole location.
That would take Lydia Ko to 5 under par. It's been a nice summer, hasn't it, for former NCAA star Mariah Stackhouse out of Stanford, this at the 14th.
And something that really she can build on in terms of confidence-wise out here on the LPGA.
Takes her to 5 under par. And former U.S. Amateur champion Jane Park in the first group out this morning, teed off at 7:15 local time and finishes at 18 with a birdie, a 65, her low round of the season so far. All birdies, no bogeys, birdies and pars. And she has a share of the lead with Angel Yin, who's given up a shot on the back 9, Lydia Ko, Mariah Stackhouse, Jong-Un Lee, Jin Young Ko at 6 under. Now this is the look of a IndyCar race, lining up, drafting behind Park and Yin. 7 of the top 9 of the world rankings are here. Day 1 at Indy. Golf Channel and the LPGA Tour proudly presents the season-long race to the CME Globe. From Indianapolis, Indiana, it's first-round coverage of the Indy Women in Tech Championship driven by Group 1001. Now, there is a great history of golf in Indiana. Go back more than half a century. Tournaments have been played here at what was then known as Speedway Golf Course. Players and some of the caddies and some of us have been taking laps around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Brickyard Crossing, it was redone by Indiana native Pete Dye back in 1993. It's hosted PGA Tour events, LPGA Tour events, PGA Tour Champions events. And for the second year, it's hosting this Indy Women in Tech Championship. Karen and I are joined by Tom Abbott, and on the course, Jerry Foltz and Kay Cockrell. Low scores, lots of birdies, overcast conditions, and just 1 shot off the lead is Lydia Ko, former world number 1, and she has a 3rd shot at the par 5 14th.
Off of a bit of an awkward downhill lie. Played that a bit safe out to the right, and the wind is starting to pick up, making it a little bit testy out there for the players.
Maybe an advantage for Jane Park, who is already done. So 15 brings you back inside, or brings you inside this oval, and there's a great look. 2.5 mile track encircling The infield and 15, 16, 17, 18 are inside that oval. And here is Angel Yin tied for the lead. Lydia Ko has a putt to join her and Jane Park at 7 under. And as you can see from overhead, water left.
And certainly one of the most intimidating tee shots, Karen.
It is, Kay, and that's one of the reasons why she hit that 3-wood. Because she doesn't need to get any extra distance, Kay, only 370 yards off the tee.
No, and this hole is playing downwind right now.
Kay Cockrell with that group. Kay took a spin around IMS last year, did you not, Kay?
I did. It was quite an adrenaline rush.
We've seen Shan Chin Fung and others do it already. Well, welcome to Indy. It is a week like none other on the LPGA Tour. So amazing to be here in the shadow of IMS. Karen, no, you said as we were driving around the golf course yesterday, it favors the big hitters. Lexi is the defending champion. It also helps when they're playing preferred lies, as they are today, to put it in the fairway. And Jane Park, who's not a big hitter, hit 13 of 14 fairways. She shot 65.
Yeah, that makes a big difference too. And particularly, you know, for somebody like Jane Park, who doesn't hit the ball a long way, this golf course doesn't have that many par 4s that are over 400 yards. Lots of them are in that sort of 450 kind of 350 kind of range. And that really plays into Jane Park's hands too, especially in these wet conditions, given that the par 5s are playing quite long because you're not getting much run off the drive. So even for the longer players, reaching those par 5s is going to be tough.
All right, so we have 2 at 7 under. Lydia Ko has a chance to get there. It's great to see Lexi Thompson back. She took a self-imposed caution flag just about a month ago when she announced that she would not play the Ricoh Women's British Open. That was shocking news, really, in a way, wasn't it?
Well, it was, and I think when everybody read that Instagram post, we were all a bit sort of taken aback by exactly what was going on in her life. And then when she came here to Indy, we asked her all those questions in the press conference about what was going on, and it became fairly obvious to all of us that it was in fact quite a big deal for her to have to go ahead and take that time off. And I think the fact that she has sought help with a therapist as well is a very big deal, and I think that's something that will serve her well moving forward.
On that Instagram post, she said she was going to take some time off to work on herself. She elaborated on that yesterday when she met with the media.
It was honestly just a build-up. Last year and a half, I've been struggling a lot emotionally, and it's hard because I can't really show it. I went through a lot of things, especially last year with A&A, my mom going through cancer, then my grandma passing away. It was so much to deal with, and I had to show that I was still okay and still play golf. And I don't even know how I played that well, honestly. And I think it just kind of all hit me coming into this year. You can only stay strong for so long and hide it. I am a very strong person, but, at times you just need a break. You need to realize you need to have time for yourself. I'm a 23-year-old girl, and that's what a lot of people don't realize. I'm not just a golfer. I need to have a life as well and enjoy it.
You could hear the emotion in her voice.
You really could. It was definitely cracking, and you could see it in her eyes too. There were definitely some welling up there of what was going on, and it has been a tough journey for her this past sort of year and a half, and I feel like she's at a point in her life, as she's 23 now. We've seen her from the age of 16, and so much changes in a woman's life from the age of 16 to 23, and she's done it all in front of the cameras, and it's just not an easy thing for anybody to deal with.
This is now 2 of the top 5 players in the world who have openly said that they've been working with professionals to deal with life on tour. It's not easy. So-Yeon, you talked about that just a few weeks ago. 2 players at 7 under. Lydia Ko trying to get there. She has lived that life in a fishbowl as well, hasn't she? Great from an early age.
And I think that this is one of the reasons why we see Lydia Ko having a few little struggles as well. Yes, we talk as she makes another birdie. As we talk about, all the changes that Lydia Ko's made, she's actually still trying to find herself as a person too, because all she's ever known is just playing competitive golf. And there comes a point where you start to realise, and you grow up a little bit, you're like, wait a minute, what else is there?
Just turned 21 the week that she won out in San Francisco. Angel Yin just 19 years old. We get you to the 15th. Tom Abbott.
Jin Young Ko on the tee. And this tricky par 3, the green sits up. It's a small target, that wind really starting to blow. And it's a good shot from Jin Young Ko. Chance for a birdie. We may have 2 Kos at the top of the leaderboard very soon.
So look at the 16th, and there's the track in the distance.
The scale of the track.
Into line with the pin.
And the stands around it is so impressive.
And again, they are.
I do too. I mean, I would probably manipulate it a little bit. And shove it a little bit. Yeah.
How many on is it?
From there to the flag is 7.
There you see the scorecard. 8 birdies in her first 9 holes, 1 putts
Wait.
on each hole on the front 9, but no birdies since.
Like this. If you get this a little left, it's going to bounce too. See your shot.
This is a shot she very badly wants to hit in tight. It's been a long time since she made a birdie. 111 yards to the hole, but it's only playing about 90 yards downwind, left to right. Well, and that's a big miss right there. Big miss.
It's a powerful swing. A year ago this week, she was helping the U.S. win the Solheim Cup. Right now, she's tied for the lead in Indy.
Hello, I'm Dan Towers, CEO of Group 1001. Thank you for watching the Indy Women in Tech Championship, driven by Group 1001. I hope you enjoy the unique display of 144 of the world's best golfers competing at Brickyard Crossing here at the iconic Indianapolis Motor Speedway, home of the Indy 500 and the racing capital of the world. We are thrilled to be able to work with the LPGA to raise awareness around an initiative that is important to myself and Group 1001. The Indy Women in Tech Foundation was created to help develop, retain, and expand women's roles in the tech industry, as well as fostering the Indy tech environment as a whole. This week, we look forward to shining a spotlight on the city of Indianapolis and raising funds for this important cause. We would like to thank the LPGA, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, our sponsors, and the hundreds of volunteers who have helped make this event an incredible success. And of course, the fans and players who have made this week so exciting.
Dan, thank you. Lexi Thompson, defending champion. Third shot, par 5, 14th. Jerry Foltz is with that group.
78 yards into a really strong breeze. Just a sandwich for Lexi, which will come in low as she always hits it, I'm sure. And it is. Plenty of club. A lot of spin, though, most likely.
No one takes bigger divots. No one imparts more spin than Lexi. This was played in September last year, leading into Evian. Was her last victory. 15.
Just to tie the lead for Jin Young Ko at the 15th. No, just didn't quite read it coming down that hill. Second at the 17th for Mariah Stackhouse. We've talked about it quite a bit this year, the fact that if you single out a group of players that you would expect to break through and win for the first time in the next 12 to 24 months, then I would put Mariah in that category. I think she'll win in the next couple of years. Go to the tee at 15th, put Lydia Ko in that category, but it wouldn't be a breakthrough victory for Lydia. She may well win this week. Starting to get back to the sort of form that we saw a few years ago from Lydia Ko, and she says that confidence is the 15th club in her bag, and for her the confidence is the most important club in the bag, and she's getting more and more confident as the year goes on, and we're seeing it in her scores, certainly the way she's playing right now with 4 birdies in a row. Chance to make it 5. And we'll go to the 16th.
And co-leader Angel Yin with a pitch shot in front of the green.
Just the 3rd green she's missed today. And handled that one beautifully.
As we said, 1 putts on each hole on the front 9, but then unable to birdie 10 a par 5 or 14 another par 5. This is the 14th, Lexi for birdie.
This one turning just a little bit left at the very end. She's had a couple of really close calls this side. That was a long, smooth stroke.
6th birdie of the day for Lexi Thompson. You saw she is 17th in the race to the CME Globe. And it is time now for our featured groups, brought to you by JDX. Amy Yang, Annie Park, and Angel Yin. Annie is our most recent U.S. winner on the LPGA Tour. That was back at the ShopRite in June. One of 4 Americans to have a victory this season. Jessica Korda had a victory earlier overseas. Emma Talley, terrifically talented young American. Lydia Ko won in San Francisco, snapping a nearly 2-year victory drought. They went back to July of 2016. And there's Lexi Thompson, our defending champion. So Yan Yu is number 2 in the world. Shan Chan Feng was number 1 from the end of last year up through April of this year. Our featured groups brought to you by JDX. Have a birdie putt here for So Yan Yu. Just to get to 5 under. The lead is -7. So Yan Yu with a 3rd straight birdie.
Good read. I was like, couldn't see it. I had no idea.
5 under day 1, tied for 8th. You better go low.
Stackhouse for par, 17th. She remains 6 under, just 1 shot back. Opening round of the Indy Women in Tech Championship, the 2nd year that this event has been on the schedule. Very successful week last year, and a lot of fun here this time around.
Today's coverage is brought to you by Indy Women in Tech, CME Group, how the world advances, and by Win Grips, the best grips in golf.
I think evidently. I believe that's what we're here for. There's something coming. They're no bigger in a minute. You know it.
Lexi had the longest driveway.
Did she? her group. I think she's at -3. There's one girl -6, one is -8, really.
Lexi must have lost the stroke over there because she was -4.
My cousin.
Back at the 15th hole, Lydia Ko, a chance to get it to 8 under par. This will be for 5 birdies in a row.
This one not quite as easy, Tom. Got a little bit of slope down the hill. She's just looking at a spot on her line, not even paying attention to the hole.
Winner of the Medihill Championship in San Francisco, where she has won a couple of times before, so loves Lake Merced, and it was an important win for her to break through again and end that drought. Let's go to 16.
21-year-old Lydia Ko, and now 23-year-old, no relation, Jin Young Ko, who is leading the Louise Suggs Rookie of the Year standings, but Georgia Hall did, at least with her victory at the Rico Women's British Open, keep that race going a bit. It's not done yet.
Georgia Hall not in the field this week. Angel Yin off the tee at 17.
Yeah, driving it to one of the narrowest holes on the course and missing the fairway. She's been a little bit all over the place this second 9.
Yeah, it's been two different stories, isn't it, really? The front and back 9s for Angel Yin, Grant.
Let's take a look at our course setup, brought to you by the Golf Course Superintendents Association of America. Bill Diddle, an Indiana native and a fine golfer in his own right, designed the original Speedway golf course, which Pete Dye redesigned, Karen.
Well, and it's a very nice Pete Dye golf course in that you have a stream, river that runs, sort of meanders through it. You've got some tricky bunkering out there. It's a very pleasant place to play golf. The bent grass greens and fairways make for excellent playing conditions, and these greens really rolling very nice indeed. And as Kay has said, slightly slower because of the rain that they've had, but all in all, I think the players are very happy to get out there and play this course.
Lydia to remain co-leader. No pun intended. Nobody got that, did they? They were a little sleepy.
It's always intended.
It's early in the week.
With you, it's always intended.
Early in the week. We're just warming up, folks. Although this week, a new initiative, an hour of bonus coverage streaming on Golf Channel's digital platforms, on the Golf Channel and NBC Sports app, and also on the Golf Channel and LPGA Facebook pages. So there'll be an additional hour of coverage at the beginning of our broadcast slot each day.
You can see the tower behind Jin Young Ko as she lets it go at 16, and she, like Angel Yin, has come up short. It is downwind here, and perhaps they were trying to protect from it going long. It's a fairly simple pitch shot from in front of the green, a little more difficult from behind it. Three-way tie for the lead at 7 under. Jane Park was in the first group out this morning. She's done. There is some nasty weather in the area. We are keeping our fingers crossed that it stays away. Maria Uribe, who won a U.S. Amateur at Crooked Stick not far away here in Indianapolis, shot 67.
So Yan Yu on the tee at the 15th.
This was a 9-iron just a moment ago, Tom. It's a really difficult hole. Even though it's 143 yards long, it could strike fear into the hearts of lesser skilled players with that tabletop green, wind blowing from the left. If you miss the green at all, it just runs on forever down a slope, and it's almost always a bogey. Lexi going with an easy 9-iron here.
Got top tracer on this one for Lexi Thompson. How are you doing, Jerry? I understand you had a bit of an injury out there.
Yeah, I got bit by the biggest, meanest, ugliest horsefly I ever have. And it's not pretty. Left a mark.
Takes more than a horsefly to take you down, though, Jerry.
Yeah, horsefly is now wishing he hadn't bit me. This one leaking right of the hole, about where Lydia putted from. A little past that. Ooh, that was just a little too much club for Lexi, trying to hit an easy 9-iron, not going to spin back down the hill.
The difference between hitting this green and just missing it is vast, because the ball will just run right down to the bottom, and you can't even see the flag. To 18.
And here is Indiana's own Erica Shepard, a U.S. Girls Junior champion. She Monday qualified for the second straight year here, made the cut. It was a 3-round event last year, leading into Evian. And Erica, she's 17 years old. She is a commit to Duke University at a 1 under par 71. It's her home here in the Indianapolis area, just a few miles to the southeast of where we are here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You see she's committed to Duke, has been for a couple of years, and she will represent the U.S. in the Junior Ryder Cup in September.
And I think Duke will be quite happy to see her showing up on campus, because the McGuire twins have now moved on, and there is a big spot in their lineup open, and they could do with a good player coming in there. And she looks like she's going to fill that role.
17.
Second for Angel Yin.
Tom, she got lucky in that she has a decent lie. That 3-inch rough at the beginning of the week is a good 4+ inches now, and it's wet, tough to deal with, but with her strength, not an issue.
Yeah, you just see how much power she has through the ball. She is just so much fun to watch, especially when she gets on a run like she did today on that front 9. Go to the tee at the 16th.
And Lydia Ko tied with Jane Park, who's finished, and Angel Yin, who is a couple of groups ahead of her. Water left, par 4 16th.
A number of other players have been teeing off here with just 3 woods. Lydia with the driver. Favoured shot shape is a fade.
Oh, wow. She groaned when it left the putter, the club face, and that's why. The wind really whipping. Where did it cross?
Well,
oof.
Well, the trouble is that it started left and was fading. So I'm not so sure that that got over very far, looking at the angle bottom left over that water.
So she'll be hitting a 3rd shot from where we don't quite know, maybe turn 3. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway, our host, the Indy Women in Tech Championship, 3-way tie for the lead.
Yeah, good swing.
Then let the people walk through. All of a sudden they're getting ready to hit. And there's 2 guys that say, hurry up, they're getting ready to hit. The guys look up to me and you don't realize the road for
That's what I meant, 65.
How are you doing, Tom?
day before yesterday, I eat breakfast. I get here and we had a hot breakfast. I go, wish I was on that.
Oh, yeah.
So yesterday I didn't eat breakfast. I get here, all the hell was Danish. And we had a hot breakfast this morning. I stay away from the eggs. The eggs run right through me.
Do they?
So I don't need to eat.
Back on the 15th hole, Lexi Thompson has this for birdie.
A little downhill, but not terribly fast. Turning right early, and then will die a little left at the end.
Good run from Lexi. Just a par. And we'll go up to the 16th.
And so Jin Young Ko with the third shot at this par 4.
Just accelerated off that little downslope at the front of the green, past the hole.
Not exceptionally long, but a very controlled player leads the tour in accuracy and greens in regulation. 15.
So Young Yu for birdie.
Trying to get another one to drop.
Pace. But she's going to tap in for a par, remain at 5 under, and that run of birdies comes to an end. It started at a par 3. And we'll go back to the troubles for Lydia Ko at 16.
And look how far back she's going to have to hit this third shot.
I can do that one. Yeah.
Yes, you can.
So, and this is basically the.
What's the cover?
The cover. Yes, that's the 200 there, so it's under one is 60.
What is the cover where they are?
Where they are on the left, it's pretty much 200. Are you talking about the people on the green?
Yeah.
It's just over 200.
Okay.
Like 210.
But I won't run out of that top tree.
No.
I'll go at that flat.
So a third shot here. Her tee shot faded into the hazard. Had she hooked it in, she could have looking to drop up farther along. Will that stay in the fairway? It will not, so she can't clean it from there. It is lift clean in place today because of a ½ inch of rain late yesterday, the threat of more rain today. So the co-leader is going to give up a shot unless she somehow holds that one. And at the 18th, we see our first cameo appearance by the sun here today, a shadow of Mariah Stackhouse. You see 56th in the race to the CME Globe, and to finish up a terrific opening round here. Part of a powerhouse team collegiately at Stanford, helped the Cardinal win a national championship close the next year as well.
I had wondered how she would do on tour. And sometimes when a player is so invested in college golf and being part of a team, they find the transition to playing professional golf quite difficult because they're so used to having a group of people around them that they really enjoy. So all of a sudden to be out on your own, it can be a little stressful, but she's made that move quite nicely.
Angel Yin for a birdie to take the lead back.
Still looking for her first birdie on this back 9.
It's just going to be a par at best for Angel, who has a par at the last to shoot 65, which would equal her career low on the LPGA Tour. She did that 3 times in 2017.
Shan Feng gets it to 3 under par inside the oval, which she took a lap around earlier this week, and she let us in on it.
Remember to put your seatbelt on, and this is Shan's first time race car experience.
All right, let's go.
Ooh.
She goes from screaming in terror to saying, is that as fast as we can go? Take it up a notch. They went about 120 miles an hour, which is about a half of what they can go here. Amazing.
I do think that it has more to do with how close they get to the wall.
Yeah.
More than anything else.
Have you been round?
I have not.
Oh, you've got to do it.
I'm too busy, Tom.
Kay has.
I had a chance to do it last year. It was fantastic. Angel's in for a par. Now, Angel's never led after the opening round of an LPGA event. She did have the lead after the second round in Korea last year at the KEB Hana Bank Championship. Struggled a little bit over the weekend, but tied for the lead right now. Maybe that will be better, that 7 under number, come the end of the day, to 16.
As you see, a fourth shot here for Lydia Ko in the water off the tee. To drop back short of the hazards, and now a fourth from the first cut.
Just kind of nestled down a bit in there too. Getting this to spin is going to be a bit of an issue. Although she does land it on the front edge in that soft upslope.
Yeah, she can clean it now. She'll have a fifth shot on the par 4 in a moment. Of course, as proficient as she is with her wedges, especially around the green, it's always a possibility that she could hole it out. She did that at the Metaheel en route to victory. Back we go to the tee at 16 now. Shan Feng, Lexi Thompson, our defending champion. You see their scores, So Yan Yu. We talk about Lexi Thompson, Jerry, without a victory. Same for Shan Feng. Wins are hard to come by these days.
Yes, they are, and that's surprising on both counts, actually. Shan's such a reliably consistent player, doesn't ever make any big mistakes, never beats herself, so to speak, on the golf course, and is not afraid of being in contention. This tee shot, a little intimidating, plenty of room to the right, but the further you hit it, the narrower it gets, and it is playing downwind from the left. A lot of players not hitting driver. You don't need to.
Shan is straighter than she is long. She's found the fairways. We go to the 18th. And we see this interesting tee shot, the vantage point, Kay, of those teeing off at 18. 3 wood looks like.
Well, it's always interesting to see what angle Angel takes. She takes a route many don't because of her ability to carry it a long way.
I didn't know that tree was in play.
It'll be fun to see what she does on this hole when they move the tee up and make it reachable.
Other side of the golf course, the 9th.
This is Katie Burnett for a birdie. Get it back to 2 over par. She's had a really tough time over the last couple of months. She's missed her last 7 straight cuts. And she's going to have to play well tomorrow in order to play the weekend, but that will help, making a birdie on the final hole of the day. Had a nasty run at 7 and 8 just before she came into that hole. Made a bogey at 7 and a 7 on the par 4-8. Let's go to 16.
And less than driver, it appears, for Lexi.
It is indeed. So Yan Yu played in between Shan and Lexi. Hit driver in good shape up the right center. And that one was hit very, very nicely and on a good line.
She's only missed 1 green so far. And she said after the self-imposed break that she feels good overall about her game. You're a little surprised she came back when she did, aren't you, Karen?
I am a little bit, but then, you know, in many respects, you know, I think that when you take a break for the reasons that she did, there's obviously a lot of scar tissue and stuff to kind of overcome mentally. But I think she feels a great responsibility for being the defending champion to the sponsors, and that's something that she does better than anybody else. Well, Lydia's also very good at it as we watch her putting.
For bogey.
But Lexi does feel that responsibility to the fans, to the sponsor, to the tournament, and that's why she's here.
Well, when you're someone like Lydia or Lexi, you've got a lot of titles to defend.
Yes, you do.
Lexi's won 9 times. Lydia's won 15 times. To the 9th.
Ashley Buhai has had a really good day today. This to finish it off in style. So that is a round of 6 under par, no drop shots. Ashley, a winner on the Ladies European Tour on 3 occasions, but has never won on the LPGA. Maybe it'll come this week. She's only 1 shot back here in Indianapolis.
I'm not even sure if, even if they get 5G.
So I signed up to work. I thought, yeah, I'll help them, you know. But I said I didn't care what. I was a standard bearer. Don't be a standard bearer.
Oh, you got to walk around with that
Yeah,
thing.
walk it. It was a hot day.
For
it was
18
a windy,
holes.
and it was a windy day. And you know, you got to stir.
Two things are going against you.
Wind and hot. I tell you, when I was done, I just like,
Here comes our grill.
I'll never be a standard bearer again.
Tee shot in the water here at 16 for Lydia Ko. Had to drop on the teeing ground and now has this for double bogey. Back nine is playing a little tougher than the front, and so Ko drops out of a share of the lead. 2 shots back with a couple holes to play. Miguel Angel Jimenez and golf's legends head to New York as the Charles Schwab Cup race continues at the Dick's Sporting Goods Open. Our coverage begins tomorrow at 6 o'clock Eastern Time on Golf Channel. We're at the 16th, the scoring pagoda in the background here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and our defending champion Lexi Thompson trying to get maybe one of those horseflies that stung you, Jerry, away from her ball.
It's not the same one. One perished. Alcohol poisoning and all. This 133 with a pitching wedge down breeze. Both her fellow competitors left it just short of the green. This looks to be plenty, though.
Will that hang? Will. That's been a popular spot short of the green all morning.
I took a little bounce forward, actually, but it spun.
This event was played in September. It was a 3-round event leading into the final major, Evian. She was tied for the lead with Lydia Ko going into the final round. Shot 63 the opening round. This was her second shot of the night. She took the lead outright at 17 under, and as Ko had a couple of stumbles, Thompson continued to pour it on. This for birdie at 13. Her lead was 3. And then at the 18th to finish it off, her second victory of the season. And she mimicked what Dale Jarrett did here back in 1996. She kissed the bricks and the Indy 500 tradition, the milk bath. It was her last victory. You never know, do you, when you see, especially someone like Lexi, you never say, well, this is going to be her last win for a long time.
Well, no, and I think at the end of last year, everybody felt like she was going to start this year, everything firing, and really put on a run to become the world #1. Little did we know what was going on inside her head.
Well, we had a 59 on the PGA Tour, which you just saw highlights of. Brandt Snedeker. Okay, this looked like we had a 59 watch for Angel Yen. 8 birdies in her first 9 holes, but 1 over on the back so far.
Yeah, certainly not the backside that she was hoping for, but can she get one more birdie before this round is done? This from 20 feet, just about 2 feet off the putting surface.
Okay, there you go.
What a nice way to finish a great round of golf.
And a career low for the second-year LPGA Tour player. That ought to make her smile. Part of that victorious U.S. Solheim Cup team here in the Midwest over in Des Moines a year ago this week. She's got the lead to herself at the moment. You have an afternoon wave that includes world #1 Ariya Jutanugarn. Off a little bit later on. Here's our most recent American winner on the LPGA Tour, Annie Park.
And Karen hoping to finish with a positive note. She's made 3 bogeys on this back 9, and it's mostly been due to the putter.
Well, and I was going to say, Kay, that using the long putter has made a big difference in her game.
Generally, yes, it has. And when I watched her in college golf, amateur golf, she always has been one of the best ball strikers. It was her putter that was hot and cold. Very hot or very cold.
She was conditionally exempt when the year began, had to Monday qualify in San Francisco. Now she is a winner. We have a third shot at the 16th. This is So-Yeon Yu.
Just a pitch and run off this very tightly mown bent grass. It's lying into the grain, though, so you'd really like to not get that leading edge digging right at impact. One that you read as though it were a putt, trying to make it. It's not a tough shot.
No, she totally got that digging in, Jerry. One of the reasons was she was playing it very far back in her stance, club face almost slightly closed, which means that she's not using any bounce at all in order to help with that. I always found that if you're in that kind of situation, as we're watching it again, just watch how it, as you say, it just totally just dug in. To slightly open the club face, it will stop it from digging so much. You're using the bounce of the club and it won't want to dig into the ground.
This is a player that's top 20 on tour in scrambling, so unusual, but it happens to the best, doesn't it? 17.
Lydia Ko, second hardest hole on the golf course. And that's over close to where Angel Yin drove the ball, but not as far, so problems for Lydia. And we'll go up to the green. And Jin Young Ko for birdie. Get the 7 under, within 1 of the lead. Tremendous rookie season for Jin Young Ko. Won the first event down in Australia. And she's just continued to impress. Hasn't had another win, but is easily the Rookie of the Year at the moment. Let's go to 16.
Birdie putt for Lexi Thompson.
Now, she was hoping to get a bit of a read from So Yeon Yu's pitch shot. That wasn't the case. Looks like it should turn a little right. It did. It turned right early.
She said 15 out of 16 greens. She dominated that category last year on the LPGA Tour. We talk about her having not won. She's still putting together the kind of season that the vast majority of players on the LPGA Tour would love to say is their season, even without the victory.
But she knows, Grant, that
Different
that's
standard, yeah.
Well, it's not up to her potential. I mean, her potential is #1 in the world.
She's 4 under, the defending champion. The leader is her Solheim Cup teammate from a year ago, Angel Yin. The column on the left is where they began the race to the CME Globe. The column on the right is where they would be projected if it ends as it is now.
Just wide is going to be perfect.
Just a touch right of it between the edge of the green. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Come back.
You like that, right?
I do.
You come over here. Where do you think I should go?
Yep. The trash can on top of the hill now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. And when it's into, put it right there.
Yeah, good shot.
Well, it's not exactly the road hole, but it is in a different way. Jin Young Ko, 1 shot off the lead. She tees it up here at 18.
Pretty flawless there, that swing. I mean, there's really not much wrong with that at all. Lines are great, rhythm's great.
It's a pretty bad one, too.
Easy to see why she leads the tour in greens in regulation with that swing.
Straightest driver as well.
Basically left side of white side now.
Back we go to 17.
Second shot for Lydia Ko.
She could get relief from the cart path that she's standing on, but she's obviously happy with the lie that she had, so played it as it was, and judging by that shot, it was a great decision.
Yeah, really happy with the result. It's going to be a birdie for Ko, and she's going to bounce right back after that nightmare at the last hole. As we take a look at the Coes, Lydia and Jin Young, similar in age, but Lydia has the more experienced career on the LPGA Tour. Lydia, of course, was born in South Korea, then emigrated to New Zealand with her family and plays under the Kiwi flag. 15 LPGA wins for Lydia Ko, 2 for Jin Young, 1 as a non-member, 1 coming as a rookie earlier this year, as we mentioned, but she has had a lot of success on the KLPGA Tour. So come the end of their careers, who knows? But at the moment, Lydia has performed the best. Angel Yin with a 64. She is with Kay Cockrell.
And she's all smiles, Tom, and why wouldn't she be? You got off to a sprint of a start. How cool was it to birdie the first 5 holes and then end up 8 under through 9 holes? Have you ever done that before?
I've never done that before. So I had 9 putts, I think, on the front 9, which is incredible. Never had that many low putts, but it just felt good. Everything was working. Even on the back 9, when I shot even, I played well. It just didn't go in, the wind picked up, but overall it was a very solid round.
How hard is it to sustain that level of play? I mean, only so many people have ever shot, a 60 or even a 59. Annika is the only woman, and Brandt Snedeker shot a 59 today over on the PGA Tour, so something's in the water. But how hard is it to sustain that level throughout the whole round?
Mentally, you have to be strong. You can't really think about it. You have to stay in the present and think about every single shot. And also the condition changes over time. Like the front 9 is different from the back 9. So shooting a 59 it's hard.
It was a beautiful round today. To be honest, your play of late hadn't been that beautiful. You missed 2 cuts over in Scotland and at the British. What did you do to flip things around in the week off?
I just rested because I knew I was playing well. I didn't get that good of a draw at the British. My course management wasn't good at Scottish. I mean, British, I played well. I played, I would say, a flawless round on Thursday. Friday, it was a little harder. It was a struggle, but I played well. And so I just knew that if I just stay patient, it will come together.
Nice to see you shoot 64. Personal best out here on the LPGA Tour.
Yeah, personal best.
You'll take it. All right, she'll take it. Tom?
I guess, yeah, anybody would. Take a look at the tournament overview. In 2017, Lexi defeated Lydia Ko. It was a 54-hole event. Again, it was that way because it was leading into Evian. They wanted to get the players over to France. 11 of the top 15 in the Rolex Women's World Golf Rankings in the field. And Sophia Schubert from Tennessee and the University of Texas is making her professional debut. She won the U.S. Women's Amateur last year.
Lexi on the tee at the 17th.
Back into the breeze on this par 4, dotted with bunkers, a lot of them on the right, a few on the left. This one looks a little right, but not bad.
Yeah, it's okay. A lot better than we saw from Lydia's tee shot and also Angel Yin on that hole. Now up to the green, Lydia Ko with that lovely approach, and this we almost sort of gave it to her for birdie. Shouldn't be a problem.
And quite a nice way to bounce back, Tom.
A wonderful bounce back after the double at 16 caused by that tee shot. Didn't hit a good tee shot here, but still managed to make birdie. Go to the 9th and Mi Hyang Lee for birdie. This is her last hole of the day. And that's a nice way to finish. So Mi Hyang Lee looking for a victory here in Indianapolis. 6 under par, low scoring, the order of the day. 8 under leads the way. Angel Yin with a personal best 64.
Golf Channel and the LPGA Tour welcome you back to Indianapolis, the crossroads of America, and the opening round of the Indy Women in Tech Championship, driven by Group 1001. Grant Boone, Karen Stupples, Tom Abbott, Jerry Foltz, and Kay Cockrell. And on a day in which Brandt Snedeker shot 59, it looked like second-year LPGA Tour player Angel Yin might threaten to go below 60. This was her second shot at the ninth. She was already 7 under through 8. And she would roll that in for birdie. Didn't play quite as well on the back nine as the wind kicked up, but Karen, that birdie at 18, a 64.
And makes all the difference in the world, turning that back nine around for her. And I think that players get used to shooting a certain number as their low score. And I think once you burst that bubble, you go below it, I think the world's going to be her oyster, because she definitely has the power to go very deep.
The racing capital of the world, with 4 holes inside the oval here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's Angel Yin leading it by 1. 17, Tom Abbott.
One of those holes inside the speedway for the tournament players, the 17th, Lexi's second.
That from 143 into the breeze from an uphill lie to a very complicated looking contoured green.
Is it going to stay?
That was such a good shot, too. Oh, it does barely hang on. If it got a little drier, that would be gone.
We'll go up to the tee at the 18th.
And Lydia Ko with the tee shot, which we will follow with our top tracer technology. And Kay Cockrell was dropped back to catch Lydia.
Yeah, see how she can finish, see if she can get one more birdie on the card. And that's going to be a safe drive.
Last 2 tee shots were left. One of them went into the water at 16, and she went on to make double bogey, falling out of a share of the lead. That one is safe. Playing lift, clean, and place today because of rain yesterday and the threat of it today.
So Yeon Yu second on the way.
Turning in nicely if it's not too much club.
It's going to be fine. Oh, a little sun peeking through. I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing. We don't want storms to bubble up. Let's go to the 14th.
And we have at this par 5 a birdie putt for Sophia Popov. 119 in the race to the CME Globe. So as you see these numbers for the next few weeks, red means you're not inside that top 72. Green means you are. And you want to be green. So we have a little green flag racing here in Indianapolis, and our race to the CME Globe standings look like this. Ariya Jutanugarn, the only 3-time winner this year. Minjee Lee has a win and a boatload of top 10s. Georgia Hall moved up to 22nd, Karen, with that victory a couple of weeks ago at the Rico.
And it was amazing, really, because in the world ranking too, she moved to number 10 as well, and that's a really impressive jump for her to make.
First English woman to win a major championship since?
Let me think. That was good fun going back, and
so impressive, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was fun for you to relive it.
Yep.
Exciting for English golf, isn't it?
I think it's going to be huge. I mean, nothing against Paula Long-Patnam, but I think in terms of career, I think it was a bigger win for Georgia Hall than it would have been for Paula Long-Patnam in terms of forwarding golf in their representative countries. Biggest thing I learned about that week was that Thailand has more players ranked, in fact double the amount of players ranked in the world, women-wise, than England does.
But we see a bit of resurgence, don't we? Not just Georgia Hall. There's some other really talented young English women. Here's the Spaniard, Carlota Segunda, this to shoot a 66. How about 22 under up in Green Bay, and you lose by 9, as she did, to Se-Young Kim, that record score. Heads up.
Se-Young Kim just played out of her mind golf-wise that week. It was crazy. Carlota, yes. Carlota, much more of a fan of courses that require not so many birdies to win, but proving that she can go low with the best of them.
Oh, belated fist pump there. 66, 2 shots off Angel Yin's lead. here, Jin Young Ko. You see her marking the ball. It is a bit unusual to see, but lift clean in place. It applies to all the closely mown areas, not just in the fairway. Let's go back to Moria Jatanagarn in 2013 to find a Rookie of the Year who didn't come from having played full-time on the Korea LPGA Tours. Se-Young Kim, In-Ji Chun, Sung-Hyun Park, and now Jin Young Ko threatening to win the Rookie of the Year. Again, not really rookies in a sense.
Well, no, because they've been playing professional golf for a number of years on a very competitive tour that is the KLPGA. Before they even get to the KLPGA, they have 2 other levels of professional golf that they could possibly play in as well. So everything that they do from a young age, you know, it's from 16 onwards, is all about being competitive, playing competitions, being in tournaments, so that by the time they get here, learning to play for money. So by the time you get to the LPGA, it's just another week.
So that was her bid to tie Angel Yin. She's got some work left here for par. To the 17th.
Lexi Thompson taking a look at her birdie putt.
Taking a good look at it, one that's pretty slow, up the hill early. Kevin McAlpine, her caddy. We talk about him a lot. Fine player from Scotland himself. Reads the greens fantastically. Although I have played with Kevin and he putts with a modified claw, so it doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. And he chips cross-handed, so I'm not sure about his short game. But nonetheless, Lexi has this one that's going to be slow, turning left early and then straightens out at the hole.
Month break. We've talked about Lexi taking some time off. And during that break, the first couple of weeks, she didn't practice, touch a club. But the last 2, she has been practicing and training in the gym, getting ready to return to the LPGA Tour.
And there's,
go ahead, Karen.
I was going to say, there's a lot to be said for going into the gym and training. It's you can take out a lot of frustrations and burn off a lot of mental stress by actually going to the gym and having a good workout.
I think a lot could be learned from her bravery yesterday in facing the media and talking about what she had gone through.
At the 18th, the winningest active player on the LPGA Tour. 20 career victories for Christy Kerr and a closing birdie. 3 under par. She must feel like she's treading water. She's watching Jin Young Ko at -7. 17 again.
So-Yeon Yu for her birdie.
This one on the downhill side, a little bit on the slippery side, but not treacherous. Turning right at the end, actually right early. Should continue to do that at the hole.
The LPGA player badge there on her belt line. It's the pass that players need to get everywhere they go. If you're ever wondering how that happens, that's what they use.
You also have regular sort of credit card type badges with photo IDs on too.
It's not cool to have that around your neck when you're playing. Really.
Not really, it gets in the way.
Yeah.
Especially if it's windy, it blows everywhere.
A par putt for Jin Young Ko just a moment ago. This for a round of 7 under par 65. How about 13th in the world? Not good enough to make the UL International Crown team for the Republic of Korea.
Yeah, that's really competitive. And knowing as well that Inbee Park, their best player, isn't going to play on it either.
Lydia Ko, I misspoke earlier, Lydia, the last player to win Rookie of the Year who hadn't come off the Korea LPGA Tour. She's at the 18th.
That ball was above her feet, trying to deal with the wind that's blowing right to left and hurting.
Just that one errant tee shot at 16 into the water led to a double bogey. The only blemish on her card. Still a nice opening round for the runner-up last year in the inaugural event, the Indy Women in Tech Championship from the Brickyard in Indianapolis.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you can hit it a little bit lower, it'll be better. And then just like kind of just right of it, and then let the wind do its job.
Yeah.
Back here at the Brickyard, we're going to see this tee shot of Lexi Thompson with our top tracer technology. 4 under par.
Looks like 3 wood aiming out to the right center of the fairway. Even though it's a 3 wood, your top tracer won't show a very high apex. Oh, one-handed finish there, didn't like it.
Top tracer didn't like it either because we never picked it up.
Yeah, well left. .63 in the opening round of 3 rounds here last year. Went on to win it by 4. So Yeon Yu is next.
Looks like she is going with driver. Swing that never looks rushed. It's just so rare to see her start a ball offline, and equally rare to see a lot of curve in any shot she hits. This one just a bit right. There is plenty of room over there.
And she will not be able to lift clean and place that one. It drifts into the first cut of rough. Up at the green here at 18, Lydia Ko. This would be a nice way to bounce back, Kay, after a double bogey at 16.
Yeah, certainly. And I think she's one of the best at shrugging off mistakes and just trudging on to the next shot. She's got to deal with a right to left bank shot on this putt.
That would be fitting.
Oh. Boy, that looked good most of the way.
Oh, she's had a couple of putts that went in that she didn't think were.
Mm-hmm.
That one I think she thought would, but didn't.
That's the nature of the game of golf. I mean, sometimes you hit a putt that you think, there's no way, and you're up and out of it. Next thing you know, it hits a little lump and it's falling in the hole. And in the other putts, you start exactly as you want them, with exactly the right speed, and somehow they don't.
Good start. 6 under par, 66.
Angela Stanford playing her final hole of the day. 3 birdies so far for Angela, the 18-year LPGA Tour veteran, and that should be a birdie at the last. 5 wins in her career, the last of which came in 2012.
Well, on a day in which the scoring average is a stroke and a half under par, Jessica Korda has this for birdie.
Must feel like she's getting lapped, as any players are that are just hovering around par.
Talk about the comebacks of Brooks Koepka and Tiger Woods, who were front and center last week at Belle Reve. I don't think we can overstate what it meant for Jessica Korda to come all the way back. She gets a hug from Lydia Ko. Come back from that off-season surgery. Here's the U.S. UL International Crown team. Korda with Lexi Thompson, Christy Kerr, and Michelle Wie. Jessica and Michelle are the 2 new members this year. They'll be the defending champions. And and they are the number 2 ranked team behind the Republic of Korea. The teams are set, the players are set. The first UL International crown to be contested outside the U.S. as Korea plays host 8 nations competing for the crown. Golf Channel brings you all the action coming in October. Can't wait. Jack Nicklaus designed golf course there. And Emma Talley for birdie here at the 18th.
16 pars, 1 birdie. Oh, she said she's been sticking it tight all day and just not been getting it going with the putter. Grant, she's from Paducah, Kentucky, 4.5 hours away. Going to have a ton of family and friends out this weekend.
A very, very good present and a very bright future for Emma Talley.
The left big pine, the base of it, over that third stake.
I don't know whether that's the problem or not. That I don't know. But
were they up here yet? I said they were missing a lot of people.
So they're just people didn't show up. Rain and so they didn't show up. What's that?
They have the tournament at the same time every year.
Well, last year was an inaugural thing, so they only had a 3-day.
Is it still here?
But I think now they're supposed to be established with this, so it'll probably be in August every year.
Just a moment ago at the 18th from the first cut of rough. So-Yeon Yu.
This from 134 yards, breeze in and from the right. Playing up the length of the green, but the wind blowing this a little left.
That was a moment ago, and now Lexi Thompson.
That's from some pretty deep rough, but the ball was setting up. Just barely creeps on, not bad.
Yeah, it just came out of it.
They'll move the tee up here to make it a drivable par 4 on at least one of the days. 72-hole event this year. And so the morning wave finishing up, the afternoon wave getting started at the 10th, the par 5. This is Sandra Gall, third shot.
And what a rather pleasant way to start your day out.
I should say so.
Nice steady start with an opportunity for birdie.
2 par 5s on the front, 2 on the back. Par 36, 36, 72. And there you see the 15th green on the right, the 16th hole on the left. 15 through 18 are inside the speedway. Angel Yin, an angel on the infield. 64, her career low, and she leads it by 1. She birdied 8 of her first 9 holes. Jane Park and Jin Young Ko with 65s. Lydia Ko even with a double bogey at 16, shot 66.
And we're seeing a very sort of eclectic leaderboard in terms of how far players hit it. You've got one of the longest hitters on tour leading the way, and then Jane Park, who isn't in the same league distance-wise off the tee, right there in second place. It's a course that is giving opportunities for everybody.
Jane did hit 13 out of 14 fairways, and with lift, clean, and place conditions, or the rule in effect, she was able to get a clean lie those 13 times out of 14, taking advantage. Seven of the top 9 in the world rankings are here. 11 of the top 15. Jay Marie Green had a great Sunday at the Rico Women's British Open. All right, Foltzy, have you gotten in yet? Do you fit?
I'm not sure I would fit. I would sure like to try, though. That would be quite the adrenaline rush, wouldn't it? Not a lot of room in there. And not a lot of bells and whistles. No cup holder either, so it's not for me.
Or not nowhere to put your GPS either.
Open wheel. And Lexi Thompson for birdie.
That car, by the way, is the car of Zach Veach, who is competing this year. And he's 23rd in the standings.
And there's a race coinciding with our event in Portland in a couple
2 weeks'
of weeks.
time. 2 weeks' time. You'll see it on NBCSN.
All right, Lexi for birdie.
Yeah, this putt has a few things going on with it. Uphill early and going right off this little shoulder. And then it starts going down grain. Should straighten out after that and might even die back to the left eventually.
And took a hop about 2/3 of the way there. That'll be for a 68 if she can negotiate that final foot. Back we go to the 10th. 10 career victories for Paula Creamer, but you see number 115 on the race to the CME Globe, her first hole of the day. Again, those who began on 10 at that par 5, and there's a look at that Zach Veach and Andretti team beauty.
Just trying to figure out how you change 4 tires in about 4 seconds on this thing.
Wheels have not come off this group. So Yanyu with this for a 67.
Well, probably learned a little bit from Lexi's putt.
So par putts coming up for Lexi and So-Yan. Down to Kate Cockrell.
I'm alongside Lydia Ko, who just shot a nice round of 66, 8 birdies and 1 double bogey. You're on the same track that you did last year here. You seem to really like this golf course. What was grooving with your game today?
I felt like, I gave myself a lot of good looks for birdies, and I was able to hole a bunch of them. And, these last few weeks, I really haven't felt like I've made a lot of birdies compared to, the opportunities I've had. So it was definitely a nice change. Just one, kind of big mistake on 16, but other than that, I felt like I played really solid all around.
Well, you made a nice bounce back birdie, almost birdied your last 2 holes after that double. You seem to have a great ability to let mistakes go. Why are you so good at doing that, do you think?
I think I've had it in the past where, I've been too dwelled up on, a mistake from the hole before, and that really hasn't helped in the hole after that. So I think it's a learning process, but, you try and forget the bad mistakes, and, that way your mind is really positive, and, as long as there's another hole in front of you, that means there's another birdie opportunity. So I've been trying to think of it that way, and, most of the times when I get angry about, a shot or a certain hole, the next hole I have that similar mistake again. So I try and have short-term memory loss when it comes to golf. I think bad shots.
Well, I think that's a great lesson for the people that are watching, because most people tend to dwell on the negative. Thanks for that insight, Lydia. Guys, back to you.
And that is good to remember. Here's
So true.
Shan Shan Fung for birdie just a moment ago. So she took a lap around the Speedway earlier in the week, and her first lap around in competition, 3 under par 69. So Yu made her par, and now Lexi Thompson a foot away. It's good to see her back. She talked about some very heavy stuff in the press conference yesterday. She's seeing a therapist now, trying to deal with life. Growing up with all of us watching on a very public stage.
I mean, like normally, you know, anybody that deals with issues in their personal life, they can just disappear off up to their bedroom and hide away and not have to face anybody or do anything, or even, as she said, put on a brave face and go on and play golf and be strong. You can just go ahead and hide away if you can at home if you want to, but she's had to be doing it all in public.
Well, here is one of the stars on another track earlier this week. This is Emily Tubert. Top tracer technology from the big hitter.
Oh, here we go.
And finds the fairway. So it was in Bristol, Tennessee, at the World Long Drive Tennessee Big Shots. It was her first ever World Long Drive event. And in her final round match versus Alexis Belton, her 5th drive rolled out to 300, 310, 320, and 322. She couldn't believe it. And Emily Tubert, 1 for 1 in World Long Drive competition. She had never even seen it until she went to the event in Atlantic City earlier this summer. You see, she's 4th on tour in driving distance. It was a big moment.
It was, and she had to make some significant changes to her equipment for that. It's a 48-inch driver with 5 degrees of loft. She had to change her swing as well. She had to hit more up on the ball in order to get it to travel that extra distance. And making that transition is pretty fun and good for her.
Jerry told her she went back to the hotel there and was met with a rousing ovation. It was a cool moment for a talented young player. Angel Yin is talented and young. She leads it by 1. Today's coverage is brought to you by the Symetra Tour, Road to the LPGA, NEC, orchestrating a brighter world, and by Consumer Cellular, where low rates and award-winning service are just the beginning. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway Museum and Hall of Fame is located just a few miles northwest of downtown Indianapolis and on the grounds here at the greatest course in the world. Established in 1956, nearly 40,000 square feet of exhibit space, cars, trophies, photographs, racing records, all kinds of memorabilia, more than 165,000 visitors per year. And of course, the Speedway can host 250,000 in the seats and another 50,000 or more on the infield. 4 holes on the infield, including this 18th, where we find Emily Tubert. Got the sleeves pulled up. Big hitter, second shot.
It's not an easy transition going from trying to pound the ball out as hard and as fast as you can to come back and trying to play a tournament. If anybody has tested out drivers, it can really throw your rhythm off because you're just standing there hitting one club as hard as you can. Very difficult to transfer it and bring it on back down, dial it back to hitting some shorter stuff.
Love to see a world-long drive here at the Speedway, wouldn't you? Angel Yin, a big hitter, leads it by 1. Lexi Thompson, defending champion, solid opening start, 4 under par 68, and she is with Jerry Foltz.
Well said, Grant. A very solid opening round, striking the ball beautifully. A lot of pro golfers look at getting back inside the ropes after a little time off as a sanctuary. What was your comfort level out there today?
Yeah, it was very relaxing out there. I felt very comfortable with where my game was at and just try to go out and just let my game show. Not put too much pressure on myself, just focus on doing my routine and committing to my lines out there.
Away from golf just a little bit, you take your role as a role model quite seriously. Cemented even further yesterday by the bravery it took to face the media and talk about the reasons for your self-imposed break. What advice would you give to the millions of other young adults and adolescents out there who struggle with some of the same emotions?
Yeah, well, I love being a role model for just kids that look up to me or people of all ages, but I think it was very hard for me to take the break because I didn't want to show that weakness, but at the same time, it takes a lot of strength to acknowledge that you need that kind of break and just take time for yourself. And especially when you're in the spotlight like this, it can get hard it can get hard to just live your life for you and figure out what makes you happy. And I just needed the break, and my advice is just do what you love. If you need a break, take a break, have some fun, and just enjoy life. You only get life once.
It's great to see you out here. Great to see you smiling. Good luck the rest of the week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. I think we all are in agreement. This was a significant moment yesterday, listening to Lexi bare her soul a bit. This is Emily Tubert for birdie at 18. Afternoon wave getting started, morning wave finishing up. Back we go 1 to the 17th.
This is the rookie Maria Torres. And you can see 98th in the race to the CME Globe in this first year out on tour, but this could be a little game changer for her. Nice round going and a chance to make one more birdie. First page of the leaderboard includes an American at the top. Angel Yin, second year on the LPGA for the big hitting Angel Yin, searching for her first LPGA Tour win, trying to drive it home here in Indy.
Straight. Christina Kim. And that girl you can't pronounce.
Santi
Fong.
Yeah. But actually, that's not.
First hole of the day for Brooke Henderson. Kay Cockrell's out there. The par putt for Brooke on this par 5. Just getting her round started. Emily Tubert finishing up her round. This is for par at the 18th. Big victory in the World Long Drive event in Bristol, Tennessee on Monday night. A struggle here on a different track in Indy. To the 10th, Sung Hyun Park.
Yeah, this for birdie. This putt should drift a little bit to her right. Nice to start on this relatively easy hole, this reachable for some par 5. Boy, ran it right through any potential break. And Karen, that's not the way you want to start. Sort of badly missing a makeable birdie putt doesn't set a tone very well for your putter.
Well, no, and it's not something that we've really become accustomed to seeing from her, especially as it's been a change that she's made to that putter and then won the KPMG Women's PGA Championship with it.
Paula Creamer missed the green here at the 11th, but saves par. Just starting her opening round here at the Indy Women in Tech Championship. And we'll go further on this back 9, and Maria Torres, who's finishing her first round, is to get to 5 under. No. Maria from Puerto Rico. Incredible story just to get to the LPGA Tour, having to, well, be uprooted from home because of the hurricane and practice in Florida, and it's a really great story. Overcoming the odds. Sandra Gar for a birdie, and working with Cameron McCormack over the last several months, and the hard work seems to be paying off. She's been playing better golf and a really good start to the day.
Become a Golf Now VIP member today. You can get tee times without any booking fees, plus earn more rewards faster. Visit golfnow.com/VIP to learn more. Day 1 of the Indy Women in Tech Championship, driven by Group 1001. Brickyard Crossing, Indiana native Pete Dye redesigned a course known as Speedway Golf Course, which opened some 90 years ago. And holes 15, which you can see in the bottom right of your screen, 16 there on the left, then 17 and 18 all inside the Speedway. Been watching this for a long time, and it's my first time here this week, and it is staggering. More than 1,000 acres in this infield. Incredible. That is the 17th, I believe, Tom.
It is, and that's Becky Morgan. These are holes 7 through 10 if you were to come and play here. And they change it for tournament play so that we finish inside the track, and that was a spectacular shot from Wales's Becky Morgan.
She's had a nice long career playing on the LPGA Tour. She hasn't been, a world beater, but she's not the longest player. To even be out here, having a tour card for such a long period of time, I think she's something in the region of 44, is very impressive. Because typically, players that don't hit the ball very far don't have longevity with a career.
Tough shot there for Popov, and she's going to have to work hard to save par at the 17th. Maria Jitanagan on the tee at the 11th.
Yeah, just taking it down the right side of this fairway. Not a long hole, but a tricky dog leg left.
Working with a new coach, Chris Mason, who's based at Woburn Golf Club in England. No longer working with Gary Gilchrist. Now Sun Hyun Park.
I think, Kay, the right side of this fairway opens up that green a little bit, gives them more of a clearer view.
Well, let's see if Sung Hyun can find that same side, going with the less than driver. As long as she hits it, and right now this hole, like 10 and 11 are playing downwind.
Yeah, nice kick towards the middle of the fairway. Sun Hyun Park, a major champion at the KPMG Women's PGA Championship, and that brings us to the Rolex Arnica Major Award standings. And the award is really there to honor the player with the most consistent record in the major championships for the year. You have to win a major to be eligible, and top 10 finishes are rewarded with points. And as you can see, Arya Jutanagan has the advantage right now, but it is going to be a good race heading to the Evian Championship next month.
Well, and Sung Hyun Park has a pretty good history at Evian. She's had some low scores on that golf course, and I think it kind of suits her. So watch out, Arya.
And we will honor those major champions on Saturday evening in Evian as we look ahead to that final round, and the winner of the Rama will be crowned as we finish the Evian Championship on NBC.
Didn't look like this a day or two ago.
No,
last
it's
night.
gotten, yeah, yeah. We had, I'm probably last. And yesterday we had at home the same thing, just a really, really like it was here and offline visit. But overnight we had several big storms.
Yeah, we got wet.
I checked the rain gauge this morning, we had 7/10, so I think we got most of that overnight. So.
Yeah.
It was just doing that same misty stuff.
My wife played this morning, just a little 9 and
she was all up in arms because she didn't know whether she should put her golf gloves on and put her.
Sun Hyun Park second at the 11th.
119 yards, Tom, to the hole, going with the gap wedge. Wind helping left to right.
Off that downhill lie, did a really good job of moving her ball position back in her stance to make good contact, good strike.
Over at the 9th, this is Caroline Headwall. It's been a strange season for Caroline. She's been very inconsistent. A lot of missed cuts, one top 10 finish, which came at the Marathon Classic. And shot 66-67 over the opening 2 rounds. There's a chance to finish with a birdie there. Let's go to the 11th and Brooke Henderson second.
Brooke used driver off the tee, pulled it with a little draw, and ended up in the rough, Karen. I didn't get a good look at the lie, but it's not the deepest rough right where she is, and she does have a little bit of an uphill lie and only 75 yards to deal with.
Definitely not having to go in with too much club is a huge help.
Digging that one out, and she's done okay. From one Canadian to another. Elena Sharp for birdie at the 17th. Big week next week for those players from Canada heading to Saskatchewan for the CP Women's Open. And it's an event that is always very, very well supported. Elena will be annoyed not to have made that one and get to 6 under.
Par 5, 10th first hole of the day. Minjee Lee second, Jerry, in the race to the CME Globe.
Yes, and wasn't able to get home in 2. Laid it up just a little wedge shot up the hill of this tabletop green and did it nicely to about 5 feet. This one's slightly speedy.
Course is playing almost 2 strokes under par. Maria Torres at 18.
Very nice. Give herself a nice little opportunity there.
It was 11 months ago that Hurricane Maria hit her homeland in Puerto Rico. Tied for 7th in Green Bay about a month ago.
Popov is going to make a double bogey at the 17th. And she is not happy with that. The player who's 119th in the race to the CME Globe, but 110 on the money list this year.
You got to watch out when you kick your putter, because it can get close to your ankle and can really hurt.
Well, check on the score there. It may have just been a bogey for Popov. Now, Henderson for birdie.
All 3 players in this group have somewhat a similar putt. This green kind of runs from front to back, left to right.
It was a double bogey for Sophia Popov, I'm afraid. So she's thrown away 3 shots in 2 holes. Brooke Henderson with a par, 2 pars to start. And Brooke has had a few things going on away from the course this year. Lost one of her grandparents and a lot to deal with. Talked this week about players, and it's not just what happens on the course, but there's a lot going on away from the field of play that is in players' minds.
Lost another grandfather just a couple of weeks ago as well. Sandra Gall at the 12th. Sandra got away at the end of last year, went to a silent meditation retreat, which maybe a few of us could stand to look into. Good start, though. Birdie, birdie, par.
I think it would be like torture for us to go to a silent meditation.
How much
silent meditation redundant?
She does that. She goes for a week to those retreats.
Does that mean you can't speak for a week?
Did you notice that about all 5 of us started speaking about the silent meditation retreat? That should tell you something.
Mario for birdie.
Our producers just said in our ear that we wouldn't last a day. I'm thinking maybe not even half a day.
Oh, I could last a day.
Yeah.
I could go one day, no doubt. You guys know.
I don't know.
I'm not saying anything.
That's the point. That's how you get away with it. Now, Headwell for birdie, and this to tie the lead.
You talked about Headwell, Tom, having an up and down couple of years almost. She has had an injury in her wrist. She tried to play with the injury, she made some adjustments to her swing because of it, struggled, but she had a little cyst removed. Since she's had it removed, everything's become much more freer with it.
Park for birdie at the 11th.
Looking at this putt, I don't know if it has quite as much left to right as the other two. Everything she does is so meticulous. She's so detail-oriented about her setup. As most players are, Karen, at this level, and it's sometimes a boring thing to focus on, but most amateurs could stand to focus on those little details more.
Angel Yin leads the way. Caroline Headwell posting a round of 7 under. There's Lexi Thompson with a 68 alongside So Yeon Yu.
Aiming at the
Aiming at
left
the
edge of the
tree.
tree.
Aiming at the tree, I think, is right there.
Check. Thanks.
You there?
That way I just don't have the paddles behind their heads when I get on my shoot from this side. If you're right there, you're perfect. I'll be at an angle over here. Thank you.
To 12.
Does seem to be stronger than this hole usually.
To 12, and Brooke Henderson, third hole of the day. Some ominous clouds in the distance.
Yeah, I was thinking like 58 and 60 shots, so that's good. I'm just at the orange cap. Yeah.
It actually feels quite nice out here right now. It's balmy. The breeze feels like it's settled down just a little bit to what it was an hour ago. Maybe it's that we're back in this sort of more protected corner of the golf course. Regardless, there is some wind that's hurting this shot.
short right has been the miss today here at 12.
Well, she hit that very thinly. Usually that you get the thin to win shot, but not this time.
She did win back in April in blustery conditions in Hawaii. At the 18th, Maria Torres for a round of 67.
Oh, it's
no.
cruel.
All the way around the hole. Still a good start.
And you got room past?
To the 9th.
Brittany Lang playing her final hole. And it has been a tough year for Brittany Lang. I mean, what do you think's happened to her? She's made just 4 cuts, Karen, all season.
Well, I think it's the adjustment that you make when you win a major. She did win the US Women's Opens at Cordoval a couple of years ago. And I really think that the pressure is on you then to kind of validate the win, to perform well. You expect to do it more often, and that puts more pressure on your game.
A little bit of work to do there for Brittany Lang. And we'll go back to the tee at the 12th.
Sunghyun Park. A couple of good looks at birdie that she could not convert. And she starts this Indy Women in Tech Championship Player of the Year, co-player of the year with So Yeon Yu, and the Rookie of the Year, Kay.
Talk about someone having to deal with pressure and high expectations from not only herself but others. Moria hit just ahead and pulled a shot hole high left. This one sounded good and looks really nice. Oh, she just pierced it right through that breeze.
Yeah, those high expectations from others, primarily from people at home in Korea that believe she has the potential to be the best ever.
First hole as a professional for Sophia Schubert.
What a way to start.
What's so hard about this? 1 under for her career. She's birdied every hole as a pro.
She's got Liselott Neumann's old caddy, Mark Scott, on the bag. Nice to see him out.
And that could be important, couldn't it? We'll talk about that as we go along. A second-year player, Angel Yin, leads on day 1 so far. Indy Women in Tech Championship, driven by Group 1001.
Get that.
Oh man. We're on the big basketball team.
Hey,
We're
that part of
basketball's one of the
7-6. Golf Channel and the LPGA Tour welcome you back to Indianapolis and the Indy Women in Tech Championship, driven by Group 1001. Grant Boone, Karen Stupples, Tom Abbott, Jerry Foltz, Kate Cockrell, our entire Golf Channel LPGA team. Earlier today, Lydia Ko out in the morning wave. This was at the 11th for birdie.
And the green's rolling absolutely superbly, and Lydia Ko taking advantage.
There would be more where that came from. She would birdie 12, and then for another birdie here at 13. Didn't think she made it. Oh, two, left it short. Whoa, okay. Little bonus.
No need to look shy about it. We know that's what you do, Lydia.
And then for a fourth straight birdie. Right in the heart.
Such good speed too, just falling in the front edge.
She made a double bogey at the 16th when her tee shot went left into the water. Little lunchtime fare here at Indy. Angel Yin with her career low 64 is your leader. Handful of 65s on the board.
I think there are many players out there that would be like to have a few eagles on their scorecard.
To the 12th, the par 3, and a second shot for Brooke Henderson. Kay Cockrell is there.
Yeah, coming off the closely mown lie.
They are playing preferred lies, lift clean in place in the closely mown areas. So the big hitters, or those who keep it in the fairway and can clean it, have an advantage. Elena Sharp, 109 in the race to the CME Globe. The Canadian finishing up her opening round. Almost finishing to perfection. She'll have that for a birdie. To the 11th, Tom.
This is the world number 1, Ari Jutanagan, for a par, Jerry.
Yeah, hit a duck hook off the tee with driver, pitched out, chip to there, and that's one way to make a 4.
Yeah, it doesn't use the driver very often, so it's not going to help her confidence if she's hitting snap hooks.
Though, but I think that she just needs to get over that and just have one tournament where she just stands there and hits driver regardless of where it goes, regardless of score.
Another birdie try for Sung Yoon Park. Over the coin. So 3 good looks at birdie. She'll have that for a third straight par.
Bit of a trend. All of them were a little cutty, little faded, little cutty putts. All kind of drifted off to the right.
Ari has won 3 times. Sung Yoon Park is the only other player to have won twice. Back at 11.
Minji Lee. And that moves Minji to 1 under. And she's having a great year. And a player who could, well, top the race to the CME Globe come the end of the season. I think it's going to be a really exciting finish down there in Naples in November, the week before Thanksgiving.
Elena Sharp hit the flagstick with her approach. She has this to tie for 5th, 6 under. Oh, heavens. Nearly a 2, and she'll settle for a 4.
Well, and, we talk about, an open and a shut sort of putting stroke. She opened that up a lot on the way back and didn't quite get it back to set the square at impact. Hence the little push.
Well, Brant Snedeker opened the Wyndham Championship with a bang. Shot 59 earlier today. You'll see a lot of those highlights, along with our live first round coverage coming up when we are done here, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's the final event before the FedEx Cup playoffs begin. Only 2 more full field events on the LPGA Tour after this week in Indianapolis. Our coverage from Indianapolis continues in a moment.
And I told her, she just cracked up laughing. Oh, I missed your birthday. Happy birthday. I was waiting to see you in person.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Somebody doesn't remember.
I didn't, I mean, I was going to Facebook and then I forgot. Happy birthday. Did you enjoy your birthday? They gave you a little cake. 26. Yeah, he thinks he's 20 when he comes. 26. All Latin men don't mature past 25.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if that's just Latin. I'm including Italians, Spaniards, French, all South America. The rest, like, I can't comment. You can forgive me.
What's going on with Brittany Lang?
Back at the 9th, and Brittany Lang for par. Oh dear. Best it could be is a round of 69, and she's had just 8 rounds in the 60s all season.
On the tee at the 12th. You can see that flag stick seemingly not even on the green area. Jatanagarn.
Signal was a 7-iron back into the breeze, although not as strong as it was a couple hours ago. This just left.
She found it. Won in Scotland the week before the Rico Women's British Open. And a former Rico champion, Mo Martin, for birdie at her first hole of the day. She has raised money for 2 water wells in Africa, working with Betsy King's organization Golf for Africa. And that has become a passion for Mo Martin. 13.
Brooke Henderson on the tee.
This par 4 playing quite a bit longer back into the wind.
People are coming into now.
Yeah,
Say?
look at that.
Okay, this was announced last Wednesday. The wait is over. Our little prince has arrived. Suzanne Pedersen, her husband Christian. We don't know a name yet, do we?
I don't think it's been announced.
Scouring her social media the last little bit, waiting for that announcement. Congratulations to Christian and Suzanne. Look forward to seeing her back out soon.
There was some speculation that the name was Little Prince, but I think that was just the turn of phrase. Now, Cheyenne Woods for a birdie at the 11th. This is her second hole of the day, so just getting started. And Grant mentioned the fact there are only a couple of events left after this for some players on the LPGA Tour. Cheyenne Woods, one of those players that needs to earn some pennies in order to avoid having to go to the Q Series. She's 117th on the money list right now.
Tom, we talked about the Wyndham being the last event before the FedEx Cup playoffs. It is an enormous week on the Web.com Tour. It's the final event of the regular season, the Wenco Foods Portland Open. First round coverage tonight, 6 o'clock Eastern. Come Sunday at Pumpkin Ridge, they'll hand out 25 PGA Tour cards. There is pressure, and then there is pressure to get out onto the PGA Tour. For those guys, best of luck. Steve Rakowski, Craig Perks, and our entire crew will have the coverage. A little blustery in the last couple of hours at times.
Yeah, it kind of died down a little bit. Now it's picking back up again, Grant. And that's caused Moria to take a little bit of extra time on this shot, determine how much farther this 155 shot's going to play. She's taken a 6-iron out. I think she's got to hit all of it. Unless she pulled it.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot of times when you try to hit it a little extra, you end up pulling it.
It's been a tough hole, certainly with that wind blowing.
We are at the 12th, and this is A&A Inspiration Champion Pernilla Lindberg with the second, Jerry.
Little pitch and run, catch some slope, roll down toward the hole. Toward the hole.
Oh. She'll be featured in Our Caddy Knows Best tomorrow, Jerry.
Yes, and does such a great job with her caddy and fiancé, Daniel Taylor.
I saw a social media post that had them filming that not on the golf course, so we'll have that for you tomorrow. Brooke Henderson.
Went at that one full and hard. Get herself a birdie opportunity now.
And back we go to the 12th for birdie, Area Chitanagarn.
This one a little bit downhill for Area. Love this free shot routine. That little grin, just a reminder to be happy. It seems to work. Ever since she started doing that is when she went on that tear, hadn't won ever, and then won 3 tournaments in a row to start her ascent to #1.
Well, when you're one of the most powerful players on tour and the #1 putter, there is a lot to smile about, isn't there?
That's just nice to see her with a driver in her bag on a wide open course like this. I'm kind of thinking she might have been inspired by Emily Tubert's win at the World Long Drive Tennessee Big Shots, but you never know.
Well, I talked to Kiradech Apabanrad at the PGA last week, and he said he's been trying to get her to hit more drivers. Take a look at wins by country. Republic of Korea, Sungkyun Park has 2 of those 7. Area has 3 of the 5 from Thailand. Her sister Moria has another, and Tidapa Sawanapura with that comeback victory at the marathon right before the tour went overseas to Scotland and England. Haven't had a U.S. winner since Annie Park in early June at the ShopRite. 11.
Sophia Schubert turned professional, playing as pro for the first time this week. We saw her birdie her opening holes. They're going to be back-to-back birdies. So every hole she's played as a pro has been a birdie. And what a dream start that is for Sophia.
Nothing to this pro game, Tom.
It's just easy. 22 years of age. She's 809th in the world. And that's going to get a little bit better if she continues on that birdie run. Taking a look at where players have started the week in the race to the CME Globe and the projections.
Rick was telling me that starting on and you could get 18 in this time of the year. They probably do. They do that on whatever the
Yeah, they do that. It's the month of. I think it's March. They do that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's March. They do that. Yeah. Unfortunately, you could have played for that $28 this year. No thanks.
Well, March is a little early for us. We're still golfing in Arizona.
A new association with the mattress company.
Well, 2 for 2, making birdie as a professional. Sophia Schubert, born in near the Smoky Mountains of Tennessee, a couple of hours from Kingsport, where the Tennessee Big Shots for a long drive was held on Monday night. Went to college at the University of Texas, and she has done what all of the veterans have done, and that's miss short and right. Not all of them, but most.
Perfect. Yeah.
13.
Playing over its par this hole, but this one for a birdie K for Brooke Henderson.
Yeah, kept it underneath the hole. It'll have some right to left movement. Yeah, didn't look like she got that on the right speed path right at the start. It's got to be kind of frustrating to be stuck in neutral.
Especially as the scores are just going crazy out there, but front nine is playing slightly easier.
Yeah, by more than a stroke. The golf course itself, almost 2 strokes under par. Angel Yin, 19-year-old from Southern California, leads it at 8 under par. And she has our Sam Dessous refreshing round of the day. This was at the ninth. She was 7 under through 8 holes and nearly goes 9 under through 9. Watch how close this comes. Hold it by about 2 inches. And she would roll that in for birdie. So 8 under through 9, but 1 over on the back 9 until the 18th. Somebody liked it, and that birdie from off the green for her career low, 64. It's our refreshing round of the day, brought to you by Sam Dessous. 2-11.
Mo Martin for birdie. This will be a lovely run for Mo Martin to start the round. Oh, Mo, right in the heart. Always plays with that bandaging on her hand. Injury that she sustained.
All right, can Sophia Schubert go 3 for 3 as a professional? It was a big decision to turn pro. She missed an invitation to the Rico Women's British Open. She missed defending the U.S. Women's Amateur title.
I think you know when you're ready. And she's definitely ready. She's played in a number of professional events, a couple of majors. And the time was right, but that was a little disappointing there. A little feisty.
Said that she turned pro primarily because Q School, stage 1 of Q School is next week, and she didn't want to try to go Women's British Open, U.S. Women's Amateur, come play this event, for which she was given a sponsor's invite, then try to go to Q School, which she said is the most important week of her year.
Wow, because that's her future.
I like that.
13.
Exactly. Totally. Yep.
Vanilla Lindbergh.
Her second shot from the middle of the fairway. Bit of a downhill lie into that light breeze. Hole just really tucked up on the front right of the green. Not easy to get it close to it. Do have a bit of a backstop behind it, however, and it's an 8-iron. Kept it pretty low off that downhill lie. Great line. Oh, just a half a bat short.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of players come up short here. Whoa! Downwind divot throwing.
A little disappointed in Dan not trying to catch that.
Yeah,
though.
he just ducked, and his fiance almost took the brunt of it. We'll give him a hard time for that. Let's go to 14.
And the 5th hole of the tournament, Nasahataoka. Another 19-year-old like Angel Yin. She has the victory. That scintillating finish at the Walmart, staring down a couple of top 10 players in the world to get it done. She'll have a good look at birdie. Angel Yin done with a 64, a career low, and a 1-shot lead. Today's coverage is brought to you by Group 1001. Volvic Vivid, the world's best-selling matte finish golf balls. And by Volunteers of America, helping America's most vulnerable. Well, a near perfect day for scoring. You got the overcast conditions, the soft golf course, plus they're playing preferred lies, lift clean in place. Angel Yin shot 28 on the front 9, even par on the back, 64. She leads it by 1. Lydia Ko, even with a double bogey at the 16th, a 66, and she has our UL Innovative Shot of the Day. And it came after the double bogey, and Karen, a beauty here at 17.
And she managed to find a pretty perfect lie in the rough as lies in the rough go, which is why she chose not to take relief from the cart path and just to a couple of feet there left for birdie.
That was innovative, wasn't it?
It was.
You don't have to take relief.
Exactly right. The very definition of it.
All right, as we wrap things up here, day 1 of the Indy Women in Tech Championship, Grant and Karen here, our entire team. Good to see Lexi Thompson back. What do you make of her 68 today?
Well, I thought it is a round well played for her, and she's overcome a lot of things just to even be here this week, and to overcome, as she described it, what she thought would be a sign of weakness by fessing up basically what she's been going through to everybody in the media centre and in the press. And I think almost to a certain extent it was a little bit of a weight lifted from her shoulders. She doesn't have to hide from it anymore. She can just be herself on the golf course. And I think that was somewhat refreshing for her to actually go out and play golf without that kind of intense feeling within her.
All kinds of challenges for young players getting out on tour, including seeing courses for the first time. Sophia Schubert, we're seeing making her debut. Angel Yin, sometimes finding the right caddy, the right team of people around you. Enormous talent for Angel Yin. We saw it on display today, didn't we?
And this is a perfect golf course for her. Really, she's not handcuffed because of her length. A lot of times the LPGA will set up courses where the longer players will have to lay up short of the trouble. She doesn't have to do that here. She can just full on open her shoulders, hit the driver and go for it. And the rough really isn't that penal either. You can get into it and still have a chance to get to the greens, particularly as it's such soft conditions on them too. So really kind of playing into her hands.
It has been fun to watch Nasa Hataoka after just a dismal year on the course as a rookie last year. About this time of year, she went back to her homeland, won a couple of times, including a major. She has come back this year with a vengeance. Already a winner, 3 birdies in 5 holes here, and off to a great start. The Indy Women in Tech Championship, driven by Group 1001. Yin with a 64. 365s already posted. The afternoon wave just getting started. There you see Lexi Thompson and So Yeon Yu, Austin Ernst among others with the 68s. We've got second round coverage for you tomorrow, noon Eastern time on Golf Channel. Plus, don't forget that extra hour of coverage live streaming on the Golf Channel app. The world's best golfers have been coming to this area. little swapping of paint here. And again, hosting the world's best women's golfers. 7 of the top 9 in the world are here. Thanks to everyone who made it possible. For Tom Abbott, Jerry Foltz, Kay Cockrell, Karen Stupples, I'm Grant Boone. Thanks for watching the LPGA Tour, taking a lap around the Speedway on Golf Channel. We'll see you tomorrow.